This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Road trip continues tonight in the Big Apple, and it's game number 2 of this all-important series from Citi Field. The St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Mets. Welcome to the broadcast booth here in St. Louis in Bally Sports with Jim Edmonds and Erica Weston. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It was like turn back the clock day last night with Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina, Jimmy. Waino was great, picked up win number 16. Yadi had 3 hits, and here down the stretch, he's been awfully good.
Yeah, he just keeps on going. It's amazing. Both of these guys keep on going, getting older by the day, but getting better by the day, it seems like. And look at the end of the year, look at the numbers that he's putting up in August, but then look at September. I mean, isn't he supposed to be getting old and tired right about now? He's not.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, but it's not happening. He had 3 hits last night, which included a double. You see right there, the OPS near 1,000, and that is a closer look at the Cardinal catcher. Our Kia player profile brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Well, how about this? The Cardinals are tied now with San Diego, just a half game back of the Cincinnati Reds for the second wild card spot in the National League. It's the St. Louis Cardinals, it's the New York Mets, and it's Jake Woodford on the mound tonight. Marcus Stroman going for the Metropolitans. Mets, Cardinals, game 2 coming up on Bally Sports. October with the St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Mets. Game 1, a shutout for St. Louis, sets the stage for Game 2, and it comes your way next. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser, this Bud's for you, and by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Mike Schilt and the Cardinals have won 5 of their last 6 games. This rough stretch of baseball, the Dodgers, Reds, Mets, and now within a half game of Cincinnati for the National League's second wild card spot. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, the Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina, Dylan Carlson, Edmundo Sosa, Harrison Bader, and the pitcher batting ninth, Jake Woodford against Marcus Stroman. Take out the record, look at the ERA, 2.87, and he is making now his 31st start. He'll be the first to get to 31 starts this year in Major League Baseball.
I always wonder how that happens as you look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. Fastball, a lot of sinkers, a lot of sliders, all that other stuff is kind of thrown in there once in a while just to keep you honest. But good stuff. But how do you have that ERA and that record match up? And just there's always one guy on each team that gets the short end of the stick as far as run support with wins and losses.
Here's Tommy Edman, struck out 4 times in the ball game last night, but also doubled and scored. First time in his career that he's struck out 4 times in a ball game. And the 0-1 pitch by Stroman is pulled foul.
How do you think he feels right now, down 0-2 already?
I'll be interested to see if the Mets elevate with fastballs up. He seemed to have issues with that last night.
Well, I felt like he just had a hard time picking up the ball last night. And sometimes it's that first time you go to a new stadium, and sometimes it's the pitcher that you're facing, a little sneaky.
And the 0-2 pitch, tried to elevate there with the fastball.
Well, clearly they have to make an adjustment. I mean, guys like get ahead of him and try to throw breaking balls, and he fouls them off. He takes them, and then he puts them in play. So maybe, soft early and hard late. So we'll see how they approach it tonight.
1-2 pitch off the plate, and it's 2-2. As I mentioned, Tommy Edman did have 1 hit, and of course it was a double. So he retakes the National League lead with 38 this year. Matt Carpenter, the last Cardinal to lead the NL in doubles, had 44 of them back in 2015. as Tommy pops it up left side and out of play. Also, Matt Carpenter led in 2013. That team went to the World Series. He had 55 that year. And I would imagine the Mets and their fan base, they're sick of that guy right there, Adam Wainwright.
Been around a few times here against the Mets, huh? Enjoying his day off.
Pitched out of that first inning jam and then settled in. 6 scoreless innings. The 2-2 pitch to Tommy Edman. The strikeout of Tommy, and that's how we begin game number 2. Mets defensively tonight. McNeil in left, Pilar in center, Conforto is in right, Villar, Lindor, Baez, Alonso on the infield. Tomas Nido just brought back into everyday play, and he gets a start behind the plate. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Here's Paul Goldschmidt for St. Louis with 1 out and nobody on. Goldie has been named the Cardinals nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award. And the 0-1 pitch. Mets had such an emotional win on Sunday night against the Yankees, and then last night just nothing went right for them. The Cardinals took advantage. Goldie with his 25th home run of the year. Brought in a pair of runs. He's now up to 84. Also stole a base, his 12th. Sixth season that Goldschmidt has had 25 or more home runs. And the 1-2 pitch by Marcus Stroman. Pretty much up and down the line, road or home, everything is equal with Goldie. Average home runs, runs batted in. The 2-2 off the plate and a full count. 76 hits at home, 77 on the road, 15 doubles at home, 13 on the road, 14 home runs at home, 11 away from Busch. He's just a tough out.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty interesting. It's just one of those guys that's consistent.
3-2 the count here on Paul Goldschmidt with Tyler O'Neill to follow. The hesitation, Stroman delivers, and it's a ball. So the 1-out walk, and the batter will be Tyler O'Neill.
He didn't want a whole lot to do with Goldie right there. He was trying to get him to chase from pitch 1.
Tyler O'Neill with 25 home runs. So you look at 2, 3, and 4 now in the lineup, and for the longest time it seemed like a 1-2 punch of Arenado and Goldschmidt. And now you mix in and sandwich between them Tyler O'Neill, and this becomes a very good trio. 25 or more home runs and an 800+ OPS for all three. Runner at first and 1 down, and that pitch is taken for a strike. It's Junior Valentine calling the balls and strikes, and that was the first base umpire last night that was hit on the side of the face and head by an errant throw from Edmundo Sosa. The 0-1. Mets pitchers 15 hits allowed last night. A lot of that damage coming late. Most they have allowed in a game since the 24th of August, and there you see the exaggerated shift. And the 1-1 pitch to Tyler O'Neill.
A short little sinker right there. Doesn't like it does a whole lot, and right at the end it just goes down just a little bit. There's your
flights
typical,
overhead.
yeah, I was going to say there's your typical Queens flight over the ballpark.
And the 1-2 fouled back. We saw Marcus Stroman back on the 5th of May at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 4 runs, 2 were earned in 5 innings. His last time out was against the Marlins. Took a no decision. Went 6 1/3. Remember, he opted out of the season a year ago, the COVID-19 pandemic. And now he comes back and making his league-leading 31st start of the season. And the 1-2 pitch. O'Neill went, and it's a strikeout. So a couple of strikeouts here in the first inning for Marcus Stroman, and the batter will be Nolan Arenado.
Well, you can see right there the little, they talk about looking for a ball inside. You can see he kind of bailed a little bit right there at first, and he couldn't recover. You saw the slider. It started out, looked like close to being a strike, and then just really took off, and it's too late then. That was a good shot overhead right there. You can see kind of, you know, we talk about a lot about what players are thinking and what they look like, and then right there you could totally see the little bit of the bailout and expecting a heater.
And a strike to Nolan Arenado. Matt Holliday in 2012, the last to bring in 100 RBI. And Nolan now at 97 at the start of play tonight. And a bloop single into shallow right last night to bring in number 97. So 2 outs and a runner at first in an 0-1 pitch to the Cardinal third baseman. Good pitch.
He is living right there with that slider.
Mets have lost 10 of Stroman's last 16 starts. And to your point earlier, Jimmy, in those 10 losses, the Mets have scored a total of 12 runs.
I was going to say, with his ERA and the way he's throwing right now, I can't imagine that record being the way it is.
The 0-2 pitch got him. 3 strikeouts in the top of the first for Marcus Stroman. Jake Woodford to the mound for St. Louis here in game 2. In game number 2 against the New York Mets here in late September. And so obviously a big start for him and a big start for the Cardinals and Jimmy, his Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Yeah, he's going to go to that 2-seamer. But he throws the 4-seamer also, which I love. He can keep the ball straight on the corners. The changeup, pretty impressive. And that curveball, a little bit of sliders, but not much. He's going to move the ball around, keep the ball down. And that's what he's going to have to do to be successful tonight.
And the lineup that he'll face tonight: VR, switch hitter; Lindor, switch hitter; then Michael Conforto, Pete Alonso, Javi Baez, Jeff McNeil, Kevin Pillar, Tomas Nido, and Marcus Stroman. We had the long relief appearance in game 2 against Milwaukee, and that earned him a start. He was very good. 5 1/3. Couple of hits allowed and no runs. And Cardinal pitching has been the story here in the last few games. It has been really good. And the first pitch is taken high. Cardinals come into this inning, this ball game, 24 consecutive shutout innings. St. Louis allowed 4 runs in the third. That was on Saturday. India and Castellanos hit home runs. With the 4th inning on, 6 innings, then the series finale on Sunday, followed by the opener last night. And we have not seen a run scored against St. Louis pitching. 2 balls and no strikes with Lindor on deck. 2-1. It was the 15th shutout for St. Louis last night. Last time that happened was back in 2015. And the 2-1 pitch catches the top of the strike zone, and it's 2-2.
Pretty good pitch right there. umpire's been pretty lenient with the strike zone. Even a couple of the pitches that are close early on were caught really bad by the Mets catcher, and he still gave you strikes. So he's got a pretty good idea where the strike zone is, but it looks like he's going to call strikes tonight. And that's one thing you got to pay attention to when you're a hitter. When you see the umpire, you see the catcher moving around a lot and still getting strikes, you know he's got a big zone. So that's when I think that as a hitter, you better be aware of that.
47th game that VR has been at the top of the Mets lineup. And the breaking ball slowly hit, and no chance. A base hit for VR, who can fly. He's led the league in stolen bases before and gets down the line, and a leadoff base hit.
It's just another one of those plays. And Danny, I said it last night, and it's been kind of eating me up lately. All the infielders seem like they're playing so deep against guys that can run. And there's a lot of guys that have sinkers and sliders and splits and curveballs. They're not putting the ball in play very hard, and I've seen a couple times, more than a couple times, a handful of times this week on both sides of the diamond where balls can't be played on defense because of the defense being so deep and so out of position. I mean, I don't think you have to stand on the grass with every single player.
13 steals for VR this year. He's been caught 7 times. Now on the flip side, I'll say, like the ball that Tommy Edman turned into 2 last night, where that positioning pays off, but it's the give and take with the shift, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not like I'm not singling Tommy out. I think he does everything he can. Obviously, he's quick. He does a great job. I just feel like I've been watching a lot of guys with speed at the plate, not right here, but playing super deep or playing super, you get the shift, but then you got a guy that is not pitching the way a normal guy would pitch. And you see, like with Jake, he's got a sinker going, keeping the ball down. He's throwing a breaking ball, and yet everyone's back, so far back on the grass, that if he does make a pitch, especially with 2 strikes, I think you have to move in. But if he does make a pitch, then everyone's so deep and the guy gets a jam shot. How many times have we seen a ball get topped this week and an easy base hit? What, 5, 4, 5, 6? And not just to third, second, third, and short.
The 1-1. And a strike to Lindor. So that high strike is being called here early on.
He's been just really consistent with the strike zone all around the box, up and down, but they've all been inside the box, or at least on the box.
Lindor, last 13 games, 6 home runs. He has scored 14 runs and driven in 14, coming off a 3 home run night on Sunday against the Yankees at Citi Field. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lindor. The exaggerated shift now with 2 strikes is Arenado basically at the shortstop position.
Well, here's the thing. You're basically saying he's not going to bunt, but can he top a sinker? Base hit. Does he get jammed on a slider? Base hit. That's the thing. Like, as a pitcher, I would think if you make your pitch, he's not going to hit the ball where they're playing. If you miss, then yeah, I get it. It's almost like we're now playing the shift for mistakes versus the pitching.
And the 2-2 is grounded up the middle and a base hit.
And that's the kind of contact I'm talking about.
Ball gets away, and VR will stay put. And runners at first and third and nobody out here in the bottom of the first for New York.
Not saying that this ball is going to get caught all the time, but a standard double play ball, second baseman's kind of close to this. And that's right where he would be playing. And all I'm saying is, like, get the shift, but with 2 strikes or off speed or a guy with a sinker, you've got to straighten up a little bit.
I'm not sure he could get to this, but Sosa, if he goes to his left, I think he may have had a shot, and I think he gave up on it.
I just don't think they're used to
that
it.
Tommy Edman was going to be there.
Well, I believe, too, as a shortstop, and you know where you're at on the field, and you know when the ball's hit, you know exactly where it's going to end up. And he probably thought, oh, the second baseman's there.
Yeah.
You know, that's right to the second baseman, even though he's pulled over.
We'll take a look at it again. So Sosa there. I mean, normally he gobbles something like this up. And he was going back to the bag thinking that Tommy is going to get it and then go for two.
I think he was just cheating to the bag regardless. He looked like he almost broke as if they were going to steal.
Yeah.
And he just gave up on it. Like you said, he gave up on it right away because he had already been breaking towards second to cover. But that's the other thing, too. Maybe he's reading the breaking ball and thinking it's going to get pulled. And so he starts to back off a little bit. It's almost like being in the outfield and getting a good jump. He had a good read and a good thought process that this ball's going to get pulled, I'm going to cheat over, and it ended up going up the middle more.
Mets were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position last night. They had the bases loaded in the first inning and again in the eighth and could not come through. The 0-1 pitch. Shallow left, and that'll drop in for a hit. And it's 1-0 New York as Conforto fights it off and picks up the base hit, and a run batted in is 47th, and it's 1-0 Mets. Well, 3 consecutive hits to start this game, and Jake Woodford is thinking, I've made 3 pitches that sometimes turn into 3 outs.
3 good pitches in a row. Not a really good jump in left field. And just perfectly placed.
So you had the infield hit by VR. Lindor hit it between Sosa and Edman on the shift, and Conforto a little bloop into shallow left. And now it's Pete Alonso. 0 for his last 16. Woodford and Alonso teammates at Henry B. Plant High School in Tampa, Florida. Woodford drafted in the first round out of high school in 15. Alonso selected in 2016 from the University of Florida, playing with Harrison Bader. So some connections up the middle here, at the plate, on the mound, and in center.
And that's unheard of if you think about it. Like, the chance that guys going to high school together, then one guy move on, one guy get drafted, and then the 2 guys playing against each other or with each other, and now they're all playing on the same field.
Hitting .272 with runners in scoring position, and it's only a matter of time. Yes, hitless in his last 16, but prior to that, he was really swinging the bat well and doing it with power. Runners at first and second, and a fastball in there for a strike. Jim Edmonds, your Toyota key to the game.
Well, I think for Woodford, we see he's already in a little bit of trouble, but my deal was take control. Take control of the game, take control of your destiny. That will put you in line to maybe make some more starts. And really just take control of your career. I mean, really, you get a chance to pitch like this, you got to take control of it.
Sosa is there, and that'll be a double play. Apparently that did hit the ground, so it turns into a double play and what almost looked like it could have been a triple play. So 6-4-3 on the double play. O'Neill, Bader, and Carlson in the outfield. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Arenado, Sosa, Edman, and Goldie on the infield, and Yadier Molina behind the plate. Immediately, the umpire gave like the safe call, which then indicates that the ball hit the ground.
I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get to the point now with the shift and some of the hits that we've seen. Every time the ball's hit in the infield, I'm scared to find out where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Because that ball, to me, was right at the shortstop, and I was thinking to myself, is the shortstop there?
Baez trying to bunt his way on, put it in the air, and Woodford had it, lost it, a run scores, and it's 2-0. Boy, what a frustrating inning this is turning out to be for Jake Woodford.
It's a pretty heads-up play right here by Javi Baez. I don't think anyone thinks he's going to bunt. And then he does everyone a favor and bunts it back to the pitcher, and just a little bit in between with Jake. He just missed it. If he backs off and lets this ball bounce, he's got an easy play. He just whiffed it.
2-0 Mets. The bunt base hit by Baez. He now has driven in 82. That scores Lindor. And the batter is Jeff McNeil. Curveball just off the plate and ball one. It was McNeil last night that came up with the bases loaded in the first and struck out on the breaking ball from Adam Wainwright. Twice grounded out to second, then struck out with 2 runners on in the 8th. And the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 is backhanded by Edman and got him at second. What a play, Tommy Edman, as he robs Jeff McNeil and gets the force at second base. Oh, what a play, Tommy. 2-0 after 1. Play and a backhand and a force at second in the stretch by Sosa. Take a look.
Well, this ball is way in the hole. And he goes and gets it. I think, you can see right there, that ball is basically the same ball that was hit through there before. And Tommy made it look like he made a point that he was going to catch that ball no matter what. Can't keep giving up ground ball base hits through the infield. That just doesn't work.
There's Yadier Molina. 3 hits last night, couple of runs scored. Picked up a double as well. First pitch to start this second inning. And Molina takes a ball. The Pirates have jumped out to a 3-0 lead against the Reds, middle of the 4th. And the Cardinals, along with the Padres, begin a half game back in the wild card. 9 of the 18 remaining for the Cincinnati Reds are against the Pirates. And the Pirates have a chance to play spoiler for a couple of teams as Yachty hits a fly ball out to center. Pilar is there. So not only do the Pirates face the Reds 9 times, they've got Cincinnati or rather the Phillies for 4. And the Phillies are 2.5 games out in the wild card and still in the hunt for the National League East. A lot yet to be decided.
I was going to say, I have a feeling that me and you and Brad are going to be talking about this until the last day of the season.
And where are you going to be?
Well, me and you and Brad.
Okay. Well, you're a part of it.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about it.
That's right.
So which part didn't you understand?
I thought you just said Brad. I didn't hear you say
no,
me.
Sorry.
Then I heard.
Well, the last day, I don't think I'll be here with Brad.
Okay.
Unless he lets me sit side by side with him. But
don't forget Ank. He's got. He's involved too. We got Al. We got Scotty. We got Erica. We got Jim.
Here with this information, man. Come on.
Oh, you mean the guy sitting next to me?
Next to you.
Gotcha.
I mean, you are the boss on the airwaves, and we are just filling in some extra slack for you. But I think it's going to come down to the wire, is all I'm saying.
I would tend to agree, Mr. Ballgame.
That'll be fine.
And Carlson hits it softly right side, and the stretch by Alonso and the out.
Please don't step on me.
Pete taking cover.
Yep.
MLB The Show 21 available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Game Pass. Own your rivals, own the show, rated E for everyone. Edmundo Sosa. All right, Jimmy, if you're Junior Valentine, You going to ring up Edmundo Sosa after what happened last night?
I told you the story when I was in Anaheim and the guy was screaming the pitch out before he almost let go. So I'd like to see him just as the pitch is being released, just yell out, "Strike one," before it even gets halfway to the plate. I would hope that he apologized again.
I would assume as he was digging in the batter's box that he did that, if not reaching out to him after the game last night and during the game. Sosa hitting .278, 5 home runs and 23 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch. Sosa picked up a base hit late and a run batted in. Cardinals had 7 in a row reach in that 9th inning and put the game out of reach. The 2-0.
Tell you what, I mean, I don't want to jinx him, but Junior Valentine right now is doing a superb job behind the plate. He has been rock solid so far at the beginning of this game.
The 2-1. Now 2-2. Phillies in the bottom of the second leading 1-0 over Chicago. A lot of scoreboard watching. A pitch in the dirt and low, 3-2 the count. Harrison Bader on deck if Sosa can reach. Backs up and a strikeout of Edmundo Sosa. And that's 4 in 2 innings for Marcus Stroman. Midway through 2, Mets on top. We check in with Erica.
Danny, the Alex Reyes last night, he had the moment of the game in the 8th inning, of course, but Adam Wainwright after the game, he had the line of the night. You go back to the 1st inning, Mets had bases loaded. He strikes out Jeff McNeil on 3 pitches, reminiscent of a certain strikeout from the 2006 NLCS, Waino facing Carlos Beltran. Asked about that strikeout last night, Waino said this: "I like nostalgia. I feel like all the Mets fans wanted to see me in the bases loaded situation. I feel like they wanted to see me throw 2 consecutive curveballs and a changeup and get them out. I just felt that's what the Mets fans wanted to see, and I gave the people what they wanted."
Yeah, it was fun to hear what Waino had to say. Fun to watch him and what he's been able to do this year. Top 5 or 10 of most pitching categories, chopped left side. And Kevin Pillar is the first out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. It's been a treat to watch him. Here in 2021, Adam Wainwright. Activated from the 10-day IL, sprained thumb. Tomas Nido. And then back on the IL, same injury 4 days later. And now activated for this game tonight. Wainwright lowered, by the way, his ERA to 2.88 with last night's win. And a high fly ball lifted into center, backing up Bader with room to make the catch.
I feel like that sprained thumb thing is like could have been Yachty like 12 times this year. Can you imagine if he just would have given in every now and then, or if you're just like, yeah, I'm making a lot of money, I don't really care that much about it. He can be on the DL every other week with the way he gets beat up.
And for Wainwright, the last Cardinal as old as Wainwright to record as many as 20 quality starts in a season was Grover Pete Alexander. And that was back in the late 20s. Wainwright now with 20 quality starts. Stroman trying to bunt his way on, and Woodford can't come up with it. The 2nd time that's happened.
Take a deep breath.
So Stroman is aboard and back to the top of the lineup.
This is just trying to be too quick.
And an E1 on the play.
We talked about it yesterday, wasn't it? When you've got to catch the ball before you can throw it.
VR, the infield hit and a run scored back in the first inning. But the key is, and guys like Waino have done this time and again, is to settle in and not let that affect you to the next batter. Move on.
Oh, he does such a great job. And I think, it's really been interesting to watch this year is I've noticed with him more than anyone, when he does make a bad pitch and give up a hit or a walk, he goes right to that sinker trying to get that ground ball double play. And he's been able to do that a few times. And that's something of the past. And every pitcher used to do that. Now guys just keep going and trying to pump fastballs as hard as they can throw them. And he's like, here, go ahead and hit this on the ground.
Here's Sosa, and he'll step on the bag in the force play. We played 2, and it's 2-0. It's a weekend. 30,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a bobblehead of World Series hero David Freese. And some of those will include a molded MVP. Cardinals.com/promotions. It should be a fun night. Saturday, Waino scheduled to start. Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres in town in a celebration of the 11 champions. We're told nearly 40 players are coming back to St. Louis to be a part of that. There's only a few that are active, and Waino being one of them. Yachty, Matt Carpenter, Lance Lynn, Albert Pujols. Obviously, Tony is still managing. Skip Schumacher, by the way, part of the coaching staff with the Padres. So
cool.
He'll be there.
Just love that you willed the 30,000 bobbleheads into the game last night. Now they're going to do it. It's awesome.
30,000. So come on out. Saturday night should be fun at the ballpark. T-Mobile coverage cam, Citi Field in New York. Along with Jim Edmonds, Erica Weston, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're in our studios here in St. Louis at Bally Sports. Just a brief 3-game set, Mets and Cardinals, and then back home on Friday night, off day on Thursday. Marcus Stroman was on the base pass, so took his time to get back out there and warm up. He was a Mets fan growing up from Medford, New York. First jersey he bought, it was Jose Reyes. Remember when the Mets had the all-black unis? Sometimes they'd break those out. He loved it. He's been trying to get Steve Cohen, the owner, to go back to it.
I like those unis. I feel like I remember, it seems like when Piazza and Clemens got into it, I felt like he was wearing that. I always that black jersey reminds me of Piazza for some reason.
That was one of Stroman's favorite players. Ray Ordonez, another one. Whoa, could he pick it? Ooh. Shortstop. And there's a strike to Harrison Bader.
You see Harrison Bader today had his local Little League out to the ballpark today.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
great.
Local hero. Pretty cool.
And the 0-1. 0-2. Bader's hit safely in 3 of the last 4 games, 6 for 13. Woodford on deck, and then Tommy Edman. 2-0 Mets here in the top of the 3rd. And a strikeout. That's number 5 already for Stroman.
It's actually a picture of Harry in the stands with the kids. Pretty awesome.
Stroman is one of those guys, big spin rate, velocity, non-fastballs averaging right around 86 miles an hour. That's 10th fastest in baseball. 2,300 plus RPM on the fastball. That's top 10 as well, just behind Max Scherzer and Garrett Cole. That tails back in for a strike. Now, he did not throw a splitter until this year. He incorporates it this year, and he throws it more than any other starter in the National League except Kevin Gausman. of the San Francisco Giants. Split finger change that Robert Gesellman taught him. Broke it out in spring training, said he had a new weapon.
Here we go.
Occasionally he'll throw it, and it's been effective.
Well, it's especially the right-handers. Everything, he stays away a lot. And the slider and the cutter going away, and then all of a sudden you see this fastball spinning thing that's going to dive. And usually the splitter goes to the right, and it's going to dive and go down to the feet. So it's a completely different look, and just when you think you've bought into a fastball, kind of just dies off and goes down. So I still think when you see guys that throw right-handed to right-handed changeups and lefty-lefty changeups and stuff like that, that's a tough pitch because you're not used to seeing it all that much.
The 2-2 pitch to Jake Woodford.
Let's please protect him today.
Still see the big mark and bruising around the right eye and on the side.
What a gamer, man, I'm telling you.
I couldn't believe he stayed in the game.
I couldn't believe he started smiling quickly after. And like I said, there's probably 90% of the guys that have been long gone. You see Jake look up right there. I think that ball hit him in the foot. He was looking up in the air.
Stroman very consistent this year. Sub-3 ERA, both home and road. Career best in ERA and WHIP. Swing and miss rate has been very high this year. That's hit out of play.
Look at Jake go. That's 6 right there. That's doing your job as a pitcher.
Make him work, get the pitch count up. And you never know, you might walk into one. Isn't that right, ball game?
I think you can, but I'll tell you what, the pitchers do have a little game that they used to, that they would try to make the opposing pitcher throw at least 5 or 6 pitches. Try to work yourself past 3 or 4 and you've done your job.
2-2 is out of play again.
He's doing it.
And Stroman, a little smile for Jake Woodford, saying, come on, man, I put everybody else away. You're the pitcher.
He's like, all right, I have a split for you. You're going to just keep falling off my slider.
Backs up and a strikeout. So first time through the lineup, 6 strikeouts for Marcus Stroman. Cardinals and Bally Sports Midwest now offering a virtual version of the popular Fredbird and Friends Elementary School program. And learn more, sign up today, cardinals.com/school program. He's got 6 first time through the lineup, and he does not have a 10 strikeout game this year. Well, he's got 44 pitches, though, already to get 8 outs.
Pitch count's going to go up when you're getting a lot of strikeouts, but didn't help that Jake Woodford just fouled off 7 pitches, 8 pitches to get to 9.
Tommy Edman lifts it into shallow left, coming on McNeil under it to make the catch. His only blemish, a walk to Paul Goldschmidt through 3, and it's 2-0. In New York, and it's 2-0 Mets. This all-important series. LA, Cincinnati, San Diego, St. Louis, Philly, the Mets on the conversation for the top 2 wild card spots. Dodgers basically assured of that. Matter of fact, they could clinch with a win and a couple of losses by teams chasing them, at least a postseason berth tonight. The Giants did that last night. Here's Lindor, and that pitch taken low. Padres at San Francisco tonight. Jake Arrieta and Anthony DeSclafani. Padres have dropped 4 in a row and 20 of their last 28. Only the Orioles have a worse record in the last month than San Diego. That is hard to imagine.
Bad time to start that, too. I feel like I haven't heard Jake Arrieta's name in a long time.
The 2-0. Good changeup. Lindor, a base hit into center and a run scored. First time up. Swings through that pitch, and it's 2-2. The Giants have clinched a spot in the postseason. They've won 8 in a row. Last time they won 9 in a row. Barry Bonds was anchoring their lineup back in 2004. They have had some kind of year.
Holy,
watch out.
Tell you what, I was just going to say before you started talking, he's still in that like almost lift and separate mode. He got a changeup on the black and a fastball middle away, and he swung like he was going to hit it down the right field line. That tells you something too. I might want to stay way out there.
Full count on Lindor. Conforto on deck, and then Pete Alonso.
I feel like every time we look at the Giants in their last 10 over the last 5 days, they've been 9-1. I don't know how they keep staying 9-1, but like they'll win one or they'll lose one and then they'll win 5 or 6 more.
3-2 hit the other way. Backing up to make the catch, it's Tyler O'Neill. While we have a moment, quick word from Brown and Brown.
Brown & Brown is on the road too. So if you're injured in a car crash or hurt on the job, call us for free. In Missouri, dial all 3s. In Illinois, dial all 8s.
One away in the home half of the third. It's Conforto and then Pete Alonso on deck. And the first pitch misses down and in. So it's bunched up for that second wild card spot in the National League, and it's bunched up for both spots in the American League of the wild card. Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox. The Mariners are now 2 back, and Oakland 2.5 out. Yankees in their ball game tonight, leading 5-0 in the top of the third against Baltimore.
Just how they drew it up, huh? Hey, let's add an extra playoff spot. Now all of a sudden you have 10 teams in baseball playing for something.
Baltimore, it's been an awful year. And in the 3 games they just finished up with Toronto, they allowed 44 runs.
They are below Arizona, aren't they? Ooh, that's a close one. Yeah, Arizona's winning percentage is .326 and Baltimore's is .322.
Yankees had to play yesterday and had their 38th comeback win of the season. If it ended today, they'd be tied with Boston to battle out for the second wild card spot. Toronto 1 game in front. Blue Jays have won 15 of their last 17. It's a good team, good lineup. And the 3-2 pitch to Michael Conforto. Tails back in, doesn't get the call. And the first walk issued by Jake Woodford.
Telling you, man, he hasn't budged on balls and strikes today. He has been on the money.
Brings in Pete Alonso. Blue Jays, by the way, trailing against the Rays 1-0. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., by the way, trying to win the Triple Crown in the AL and also lead in all categories in both leagues.
Come on.
And the last to do that was Mickey Mantle in 1956. Now has 45 home runs, past Ohtani with his 45th yesterday. And I've said this a time or two, nice play by Yadier Molina.
What I love about it is watch what he does, and then that one he doesn't have to do it as much, but sometimes he'll get a ball kick on him and he'll literally turn his shoulders to push it back towards the plate because of the spin. I mean, hey, how about like Vlad Guerrero Sr. going to the Hall of Fame, and then, oh, by the way, here comes his son who might be better.
And oh, by the way, Senior never hit 45 home runs.
He hit everything, but not 45.
And a 2-0 pitch. Be careful here with Alonso. Chops it to short. The turn and a nice pick by Goldie, and it's a double play. Alonso is bounced into a pair tonight. Sends us to the fourth, and it's 2-0. Junior, and in a way single-handedly taking Toronto into the playoffs potentially, and he just might win the Triple Crown as he is 4 back of Abreu for the RBI lead. Leads in average, leads in home runs, and 4 back in runs batted in. Now, there's been others that have had a good year for the Blue Jays, don't get me wrong, but he's right in the middle of it and one of the top players in baseball. How about that? You could win the Triple Crown or maybe lead both leagues in those categories and not win the MVP of your league, which may happen. Shohei Ohtani is.
Well, what's funny is
the anomaly there.
You know, you said it the other day that he had 44 or 43 home runs, and I said, what? Just kind of quietly, you know, unless you're, which is in the numbers every day, and guys that are really behind the scenes. I mean, it's not like you turn the TV on and hear his name much. I mean, you see some highlights and stuff, but it's not like every night. Like every time you turn the TV on, it's a joke. What did Ohtani do today or this week?
I think part of it too is that the Blue Jays were underperforming. They were in Dunedin, then you're in Buffalo, and now you finally get home.
Should be the MVP just for that, going through that. You're right, though.
That's part of it too.
I don't know. Maybe I don't watch as much highlight stuff as I used to watch, but I know it was a little bit of a big deal. But I felt like it was like a one-day ordeal where they all of a sudden showed up in Toronto and playing. Like,
very end of July.
Just here we go. I think it was like the MLB channel was there and showed the dome, and I thought to myself, oh, they're back home. How awesome. And then the next day, everything was normal.
They have caught on fire. The 2-2 pitch. Cardinals still looking for their first hit. They do have a base runner. That was a walk by Goldie, and that's lined fair inside the first base line and off the sidewall. Goldschmidt digging for 2 on his way to second and in there safely. The first hit, a double off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt.
Like you said, this guy just doesn't stop hitting.
As a right fielder, you can see Conforto is thinking, well, it may go in the corner. I've got to be protected there. But it looked to be where he could read that off the sidewall and didn't read it all that well.
That ball looked way down the line and spinning.
And with that swing, it's going to tail.
You know what I've noticed, and it just kind of dawned on me too? With
O'Neill, base hit into center field. Goldie will score. Back-to-back hits for the Cardinals. And that cuts the Mets lead to 2-1. RBI number 57 for Tyler O'Neill.
It's a great job right there by Tyler getting after the first pitch strike. I don't even know what that was. Looked like it was just spinning up there, not doing anything. But take advantage of a misthrown ball and go get it.
Goldschmidt scoring fairly easily, and the Cardinals get on the scoreboard to make it a 2-1 Mets lead.
That is right down the middle. And what I was trying to say earlier is, so we're talking about how deep everyone was playing, and it finally dawned on me, well, they're in New York, right? And you can't tell from TV, but knowing, being in New York enough, the grass is super thick. And so you can see every ball is slowing down. I mean, Tyler hit that ball hard, and the center fielder has to charge it. It didn't even get there. And some of the balls that have died, and made the infielders come get it, and you forget about that. And some of these infielders maybe forget about it too. And that's why you and I can sit here and go, wow, they're playing really deep, and they can maybe not make the adjustment. But on the other hand, you're thinking, wow, this infield's super thick, and it's going to slow the ball down.
To the Mets and their dugout saying, where is that? He's saying it's down. As Stroman didn't get that first pitch. 1-0 the count on Nolan Arenado. Off the plate, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Nolan Arenado, 3 runs batted in, shy of the century mark. Amazingly, he will join Chipper Jones as the only third baseman 600 RBI seasons within their first 9 years in the major leagues. And Nolan trying to add his 9th Gold Glove. The 2-0 pitch taken down. 3-0, and he's got the green light.
Well, we know he's something special, but what's amazing to me is he's not having a great year, but his numbers are slowly just showing up, especially the home runs and the RBIs. I mean, talked about it the other day. He's not a 250 hitter, but he's still putting up his runs batted in, his home runs.
It's been streaky. For instance, coming into play here, 13 RBI in his last 13 games after having a 3 for 36 stretch. And the 3-1 pitch, or 3-0 pitch, and a strike to Nolan Arenado, now 3-1. Yeah, the average has been down, but the power numbers are going to be there by the end of the season. Yachty on deck.
Obviously you're not going to hit 300 every year or 288, whatever his career average is, 288. But you keep driving in those runs and keep scoring runs.
Line to third. And O'Neill back to the bag at first. Ball was scorched off of Arenado's bat.
Tell you what, too, he's had some bad luck like this. And he has hit some balls right to the warning track in that stadium in St. Louis where he had talked about maybe thought some of those balls were going to be homers, and they weren't.
As Yadier Molina fly to center first time up. Base stealers, by the way, 10 for 15 this year with Stroman on the mound. Tomas Nido has been very good. He's caught 10 of 19 trying to steal with him behind the plate. There's the defensive alignment for the Mets, and a check on Tyler O'Neill back in safely. 5 extra base hits, 9 runs batted in his last 8 games for Yadier Molina. One out and a runner at first. Long look by Stroman, and another check. So Yachty, at the age of 39, leading the National Leagues in innings, the National League in innings. Yesterday crossed the 900 innings caught mark. First catcher to do that in the National League. It's incredible. 39. Off the end of the bat, and that'll roll foul. So he had a total of 9 runs batted in the month of August, and now 9 in 9 games here in September. And with the double yesterday, he is 1 shy of 400 for his career.
I heard you say that the other day, and I was like, wow, that's just another milestone that is amazing.
And the 0-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. A little cutter, slider, whatever it is, but that's a pitch that's been tough on the Cardinals tonight, outer half.
I don't really, it's hard because it's almost like it's slipping out of his hand. I'm wondering if that might have to be the split-fingered fastball at times. And
Calls it like a split change.
It spins different directions.
And the 0-2 pitch now to Yadier Molina with a runner at first and one down.
They have it as a slider, but sometimes that's just because it falls in that velocity.
Base hit into center on an 0-2. O'Neill racing to third. And with his speed in there easily on an 0-2 mistake by Stroman. A single into center and the fourth hit in this series for Yadier Molina. 3 hits in the inning.
Just keeps going, man. It's like you just keep battling and good things happen. You know, he's the typical watch him play and watch a guy battle and not give up and things happen for him. You know, he gets robbed of a lot of infield base hits because of his speed, but he battles no matter what and puts the ball in play. And like I said, things just happen. Squirts it through the hole. He flips it into right field. Good look at that slider right there.
So love the base running there by Tyler O'Neill. No hesitation. Puts himself at third with just one out. And a good opportunity to tie it here for Dylan Carlson.
And that's another thing about New York. That's an easy first to third with that thicker grass. And that ball, if you're in somewhere else where it's hot and you have thinner grass, that ball's getting to the center fielder faster and you're not able to run on that.
Some recent trends here for the Cardinals. Better pitching. The bullpen has been really good. And coming through timely fashion. Spots in the game like this. Carlson hits it into right. Plenty deep. Tyler O'Neill tagging up from third, and we're tied up at 2-2. Little things. The defense, the base running, the bullpen work, and now tied up 2-2 in a brand new game.
Well, what's amazing is when they struggle scoring runs, they struggle getting runners home from third. But look how easy that is right there. You just take it easy, hit a fly ball. All you have to do is take a half swing on a barrel, and you got a fly ball deep enough to score. Most of the guys on that team, and when you see guys swing hard and trying to do too much with guys on third, one out, you're just like wondering why are they trying so hard when you just need to get that one run in.
Edmundo Sosa. Stroman settles, throws it away. Ball gets away. It stays in play. And with that, Edmundo Sosa winds up at second base. And a runner to third. That's going to help the Cardinals out again.
And if that's not Yadi, he might have another run right there. You could see this coming. You can just tell right here. He just tried to, don't throw it too hard. It's almost one of those where the cliches are so hilarious, Danny. Set your feet and throw it. You know what happens right there? He grabbed it, didn't set his feet, and he just flipped it. And sure as can be.
That's the speed of Sosa, too. Stroman knows that. And so runners at second and third, they try to calm him down.
Funny thing is, he wasn't even really running that time either, but he just didn't do the right thing right there.
So it's Bader up, who struck out his first time. And with that, the Cardinals with some activity in their bullpen, Daniel Ponce de Leon, because the pitcher spot is on deck.
I mean, that is PFP 101 right there. Get a ball, pick it up, and you step to first and you throw it.
Cardinals in the last 6 games coming into play tonight, a .318 average with runners in scoring position. 24 runs in the 6 games and an OPS over 900. So back to the point of the timely hitting that they have had. And Bader on the first pitch would love to have that back. You think about the little things down the stretch that put you over the top, and it's cliche, but man, is it true. It's how you win games. O'Neill first to third, comes around to score to tie it up. Sac fly by Carlson. Now an error by the Mets. Let's see if the Cardinals can make them pay. 0-1 pitch. Bader hits it sharply to third, and VR comes up with it. 3 hits in the inning, couple of runs. We're tied 2-2. January 23rd through the 29th. Cardinals Hall of Famers will be a part of it. Ray Lankford, John Tudor, also alumni Danny Cox, Brian Jordan, many more. It's the Cardinals Cruise. Space is limited. Visit cardinals.com/cruise today. In LCS of 06, a young Yadier Molina. Aaron Heilman on the mound into the St. Louis bullpen.
Look at him. I love the swing.
One of the famous moments in his career, and he's had so many.
Like a short top hand over swing and just hit it perfect.
By the way, did Yadi ever get that baseball? Went into the Cardinal bullpen. I need to find that out.
Did.
What a moment. And then it set up the dramatics of the 9th. The bottom half, and Carlos Beltran taking a called third strike from Adam Wainwright. And those two have become legendary in St. Louis, to say the least. Home half of the 4th. It's Baez, McNeil, and Kevin Pillar. The 1-0. Baez bunting back in the first inning with a runner at third and 2 outs. Woodford dove for it off his glove, wound up being a base hit and a run scored. That made it 2-0, and the Cardinals have tied it up at 2. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Three and 1. Three balls, 1 strike on Baez. Takes a pitch in, and the second walk issued by Jake Woodford. Baez has been on twice. And it brings in Jeff McNeil, who was robbed by Tommy Edman to end the first inning on a backhanded play and a force at second. Terrific diving stop by Tommy.
Kind of confused with the way Jake's been throwing with that 2-0 slider. It's like he was a little worried right there about just throwing by as a fastball.
Jeff McNeil 0 for 1 tonight. Baez the runner at first, and that's hit out of play. Mets have hit into a pair of double plays tonight, both off the bat of Pete Alonso. And you got to keep an eye on Baez. He can run 17 stolen bases this year, 4 since joining the New York Mets. And the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Pirates in the top of the 6th now lead the Reds 6-0. That game was started by Wade Miley. Cincinnati, they have dropped 6 straight series in 12 of their past 18 games.
That's not how you want to play coming down the stretch.
Phillies in the top of 5 lead the Cubs 1-0. Terms of winning percentage of the opponent, the Phillies have the easiest schedule remaining in all of baseball. But that can be dangerous to think that way, isn't it? But that's how it plays out. The 1-2.
It's coming out of that curveball a couple of times, and that slider. It's almost like, it's funny, every time we do a game and you watch one of these younger guys throw it, I feel like at some point during a game they lose their mechanics a little bit and lose a pitch. Right now he's losing maybe the slider or the breaking ball, but you got to pound the strike zone.
Starting to stretch now in the St. Louis bullpen. Short lead at first by Baez. The 2-2 is spoiled. Woodford's spot for the Cardinals due up first in the 5th. He only went 4 innings in his last start.
He's only got 52 pitches. But you're going to have to get some offense going.
Cardinals have had Cabrera, Gallegos, Reyes have each pitched twice in the last 3 games. Tight situations, but came away with no damage done. Bullpen's been awfully good. And the 2-2 pitch again to McNeil. Fouled back.
Everything's starting to be up and away.
Woodford had 5 1/3 in relief on that Saturday night against Milwaukee. Only 2 hits allowed, and then a start against the Dodgers. 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned. And that is pulled foul. But 2 September appearances. And he's fared well. Part of that was aggressive early in counts. He only had 5 of 33 plate appearances that got to 3-ball counts. And that's such a difference, man. When you can do that, pitch aggressively.
Yeah, just any time you get behind, just totally changes the aspect of how the hitter is going to approach you.
Popped up into shallow left. Sosa calling for it, calls off O'Neill and makes the play. The batter will be Pilar. Obviously a much easier play for O'Neill to come in, but Sosa right away called him off.
I don't even know what to say right there. Pretty much left fielder's ball all the way, but I'll tell you what, sometimes when you know your infielders can get out there, you maybe play a little deeper, maybe give them a little bit more leeway, but man, that's scary when a shortstop has to go back into left field.
Pilar grounded to third first time up. Baez the runner at first base, and a pitch taken low. Well, Mets, they're not only fighting for the potential of the wild card, but also what could happen in the National League East. Phillies 4.5 back, the Mets 5.5. Atlanta leading 10 games above 500. The fly ball near the line and right. Carlson over and makes the catch. Tomas Nido will be the batter with 2 down and a runner at first.
It's a great play, especially how many times do you get to come to New York, and I'll tell you what, see that big wall right there? That thing's intimidating, because one thing about running over into the corner is normally in a lot of the ballparks you can at least reach over. And so you know that when you get there, you have a chance to jump or lean in. There, you run in there too far, and if you overplay it, you're in no man's land. And you can't really jump over the wall or jump into the wall, and sometimes it can get by you.
Good fastball, and Nito looks at strike one. So not only is Woodford due up first for the Cardinals in the fifth, but it's always the spot of facing a lineup a third time through. And analytics will tell you that's normally not a good thing. Numbers bear that out. Probably especially with Jake Woodford, young guy, back in the rotation. We'll see how Mike Schilt wants to play it. Yadi sets up way outside, and that's off the plate. 1-1. Marcus Stroman on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs and a runner at first, and that's in the dirt. 2-1. Nito has only played in 20 games since the All-Star break, dealing with the hand issues that he's had. Two-one pitch to Tomas Nito.
Good pitch.
2-2.
I think you can command that outside corner like that. You can bounce some balls around. You can throw the ball in, up. But if you can make that pitch right there when you need it, I mean, this is really not a hittable pitch unless you're leaning out over the plate and you're trying to hit the ball the other way. And not very many guys do that in this game anymore.
The 2-2. Now Baez is thrown out at second, and Yadi caught it. Cardinals screamed at him to step off, did it properly, and it's an easy out for the third out as we move to the fifth. Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. Cardinals in the Big Apple, New York City, tied up 2-2. Baez essentially picked off. It goes down as a caught stealing. And when you're trying to stay in the wild card hunt, boy, that can't happen.
Well, I think that, as a player, if you run the bases correctly, you have a chance to score a lot of runs. If you just do your job, and you can take chances once in a while, but you got to be smart. Take pride in scoring runs. You just can't start running all over the place. You're not invisible like Albert. Albert's the only person in the world that can do that.
Seemed to be that way.
Running joke that he was running around the bases invisible. But yeah, you really have to be smarter about just going base to base when you need to, being aggressive first to third, and making smart decisions. And that just clearly wasn't the time right there.
Matt Carpenter will pinch hit for Jake Woodford. As we roll into the fifth inning, tied up at 2-2. All right, Jimmy, I say it all the time. It is the do factor. Carpenter, since the break, 5 for 52, hitless in his last 35 plate appearances. He's had 5 walks, 13 strikeouts, trying to snap that here. Pinch hit late last night and struck out. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Carpenter here, then Tommy Edman and Paul Goldschmidt. give him that pitch, you might be doing him a favor. A lot of teams, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of teams are just going right at him with fastballs, and he's not catching up. You leave that down and in over the middle of the plate, he might do something with it.
Speeding up his bat a little bit.
Yep.
Ball's kind of staying in the zone longer.
1 ball and 2 strikes. On the bench tonight, Kisner, DeYoung, Carpenter here, Rondon, and Nootbaar. Daniel Ponce de Leon throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. Here's a 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Woodford gave the Cardinals 4 in his start tonight. Carpenter pinch hitting for him, and the 2-2 is pulled foul.
I want to test your knowledge. How many days off has it been for Ponce de Leon? Without looking down at your notes.
I'd say it's almost a week, maybe 6, 7.
You're unbelievable.
We got 6.
6?
The 2-2. Carpenter lines it softly to short, taken there by VR as they have the shift on. Ready to get discounted Cardinal tickets, 8 or more gallons of gas at a participating station using the My Phillips 66 app and get up to 50% off Cardinals tickets. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
And he's had 6 days off, and the 7th day he threw 9 pitches. He's thrown 9 pitches in a week.
Well,
it's crazy how different it can be at different times. And then you can be worn out, or you can not pitch. There's always someone that's on either end of the spectrum.
And then how sharp can you be? There's Tommy Edman and looks at a strike. It was this date in baseball history. We're talking about the Mariners still having a chance at 2 games back in the wild card. Junior and senior hit home runs as they went back to back. One of the amazing feats ever, really, in baseball history.
Was that in Anaheim?
That was in Seattle. Yep.
I remember the highlight of I think the highlight of him. You ever seen the highlight of him? His dad camped under a ball and him standing
Cutting
over
in
him
front
and
of him.
reaching over. Some of that stuff is pretty funny. I can't even imagine playing with your dad. His dad was a tough player too, man.
You know what? I think that was, by the way, in
I think the homers were in Anaheim, I thought.
It was senior, then junior. 0-2 pitch. Edman with a base hit. No chance here.
Put it in your pocket. I think that Tommy's struggling a little bit. If you notice that he's got the little jerk with his shoulder. It's coming off just a little bit. So that means his bat's kind of dragging just a tiny bit.
And been 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. And picks up a base hit with his speed easily.
And see right there, he didn't flinch at all. He waited as long as he could and just put a tough pitch into play. But like I said before, he does that when you give him off speed late. They were giving him trouble when they were challenging him, up. And the problem with that is it's coming and you chase it. It wasn't like he was swinging at a lot of strikes and getting blown away. He was just chasing some pitches.
It was in 1990 that senior and junior went back to back. 1 out runner at first, Tommy Edman.
One of my years in instructional league, was pretty young. I think Kenny's like a year older than me, maybe 2. And I was playing center field, and he hit a ball off one of our left-handers, and it went like in a spring training facility. It went across the street and into the parking lot across the way, the opposite field. And I stood there and went, "Oh my Lord!" Of course, it was in Arizona, but still, whew. I think he was 18 at the time, maybe 19.
Now Tyler O'Neill. Base hit that brought in Goldschmidt back in the 4th, and then he eventually came around to score on a sac fly by Dylan Carlson. One for 2 tonight. That's Jeff McNeil in left. And they shade towards right center. Shift on the infield on the left side. 3 infielders. And that's a strike on the outside corner. Nothing in 2. The 0-2 backs up, and a strikeout of Tyler O'Neill, number 7 tonight for Marcus Stroman.
Field in New York. Quite an inning last night for Alex Reyes. He got the 8th inning after a leadoff walk and a single. Alex Reyes strikes out the side to end the threat and preserve the shutout in the Game 1 win over New York. Adam Wainwright told me last night about ending that 8th inning. He said it wasn't just to anybody, too. He struck out the heart of their lineup. He said it was good to see in that moment, kind of flipping the script and get back to the Alex that we know and love and enjoy watching pitch all year long. Danny, he said he looked like himself out there, back to competing.
Thank you, Erica. And that was huge for the Cardinals and huge for Alex Reyes going forward here in the final couple of weeks. You never know how it's going to play out, but that was a big moment in his season to this point.
Well, and I think this could be that could have been a big moment in his career if he really thinks about what happened, how it started, and how he finished so strongly. Knowing that you can always reach back and get to that spot, it's big. It's like, you know, there was a situation where Dakota Hudson had a couple of times in spring training where he had bases loaded, no one out, and he got out of the inning with some really good pitches. And I said to him one day on the field, you can always go back to that and know that you can get through that inning and that at bat, because you can go back to this scenario and see that it's possible, and it really does change the way you think about the things you're doing.
Daniel Ponce de Leon will get the bottom of the Mets lineup, at least initially, with Nito, Marcus Stroman, nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen, and then Jonathan Villar. Jake Woodford, 4 innings tonight, 4 hits, couple of runs, walked 2, no strikeouts, leaves in a 2-2 game. Fastball up and popped foul by Nito. If you're Mike Schilt, you're hoping, okay, we get 8, 9, and 1 here. That gets you through this inning, and then you regroup and you start thinking about the next. And if you want him to face potentially the heart of the lineup, the 1-2 pitch off the plate, and it's 2-2. Every inning, every pitch, every at bat is now magnified here down the stretch.
Yeah, you know, the top 3 or 4 in that order is pretty tough, but go all the way down to Baez, which is 5. We got a pretty good group of guys that can really battle and give you good at bats. And the good news about this a little bit is, if you think about it, at least if he gets through these three, and almost even if he has to give up a hit, you get to Lindor, you break the lineup up a little bit if you get to this inning. So kind of good and bad news of it both is you got to go through that part of the order, but you could break it up a little bit and make it easier stress wise.
There he is again, Tommy Edman in the right spot, right time. So the shift, it takes and it gives. And the ground out off the bat of Nito. Happy 15th birthday to Jenna Jarvis of Potosi, Missouri. Jenna Jarvis, 15, happy birthday, and loves Cardinal baseball. There's Marcus Stroman reached on an error by Jake Woodford back in the second inning. Takes a little peek down by Arenado, who then comes in a few steps. The game within the game, right? Got to pay attention. Who's playing back? Where are guys playing? Cardinals very shallow in center and in right. And a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I believe if you're a pitcher or leadoff hitter, a-hole guy that can bunt, and you look at the third baseman's going to maybe move in a little bit. You don't want to kind of look at him too much. I figure if you're Ponce, you're not going to throw him fastballs in to yank, and so if you're the third baseman, you can just kind of slide right in.
Three and one. Fouled back, and a good rip by Stroman, and it's a full count. Three-two pitch, and he walked him. This year you can get 100% MLB verified tickets easier than ever. StubHub, the official partner of the Cardinals, they offer the widest selection of seats and prices. You can even look up your seat view before you purchase, so you know your view of the field. Tickets available on the StubHub app up until the first pitch. Now VR. That one hurts. Walk to the pitcher with 1 out in a tie game, 2-2 here in the 5th.
And it was talking about breaking up the order here. You hope that you weren't going to, that guy wasn't going to be the guy to get on.
VR very tough to double up with his speed, and the first pitch is taken for a ball high. You got to wonder how quickly Mike Schilt would get somebody up in this type of scenario with some of the big bats that are due up for the Mets in their lineup. VR swinging a hot bat, second most hits in the National League since late August, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Sometimes you can watch how Yachty catches a ball, and that tells you everything.
Well, going back to Ponce not throwing for 6 days and only throwing 9 pitches on that 7th day. I mean, there's got to be some rust in there a little bit. A little too strong. You got to back off a little bit. Mechanics are tough to stick here if you haven't thrown a lot. And he's clearly all over the place right now.
I think right now you got to get somebody up.
You can't afford to give this one away.
While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Convenient access to your money anywhere and award-winning support anytime. Great Southern Bank, rated the #1 bank in America by our customers, according to Forbes.
3-0 the count on Jonathan VR, and you've got Lindor on deck. tied up 2-2 here in the home half of the fifth. Back-to-back walks. Here comes Mike Maddox. Cardinals get a righty and a lefty up. Kwong on Kim, and it looks like Cody Whitley. Whitley struck out the side in the ninth inning last night, and he seems now to be emerging maybe in the middle innings of key spots in the game.
Well, he's had a couple of those aha moments where he's come in the game and had to battle, and then all of a sudden, even like last night, just all of a sudden was on point. So that helps, man. The more you can do that, the more you can believe in yourself, the more you just go out there with confidence. He only threw 10 pitches last night, so he's runners
at first and second. Back-to-back walks of Stroman and Villar, and now Lindor singled the center and scored in the first, and also flied out to left. That visit by design for a couple of reasons, maybe to settle him down, get him back on track, but also allowing the bullpen a little time to get loose. You got a lefty, Conforto, on deck, and then you'll see Pete Alonso. But right now it's about the switch hitter, Francisco Lindor, 1 for 2 on the night. The first pitch to him. Went with a changeup and a strike.
Good pitch right there. Well, you know what? It's a funny thing. When you're out of control a little bit and your mechanics are off, to throw a changeup and to throw a breaking ball, you have to stay back longer. And so that's kind of the thing. Okay, let's figure out a way to hold something. You throw 7, 8 fastballs in a row and you can't throw a strike. And then all of a sudden you got to change it up. And so throw the changeup to make you stay back, make you be a little bit more patient, and make a good pitch. And then, oh, there it was. I found something. It's like having in a bat where you're fouling off a bunch of pitches and then you go, oh, that was it.
2 on, 1 down, and an 0-2 pitch to Lindor. Popped foul and out of play. Oh-2 again. In and out of the glove of Molina, so Lindor is alive.
Oh. Just on the edge.
Another 0-2 pitch to Lindor. 1-2. Two and two. Now it is just Whitley who is throwing in the St. Louis bullpen, and Yachty out to visit. We'll make sure they're on the same page here. Tell the infielders what's coming in a key spot. The home half of the fifth, 2-2 with 1 out, 2 on in a 2-2 game. The next to Lindor. Popped up left side and a souvenir at Citi Field. The 2-2. Lindor pulls it foul on a changeup that was up.
I mean, is he not in that mode right there? Every time he gets the ball up, he's just leaning back and trying to launch.
Pitch number 25 of the inning coming up. The Mets 3 back of St. Louis. 3.5 out in the wild card. Two balls, 2 strikes on Francisco Lindor. Wild pitch. Runners advance to second and third. Now a fly ball potentially puts the Mets on top. Base hit maybe by 2. (3-2). He has walked 3 straight and the bases are loaded, and that should be it. Got the first man, Tomas Nido, then Stroman, Villar, Lindor. All have walked to load him up for the Mets. Cody Whitley will face Michael Conforto with the bases loaded in a 2-2 game when we come back. Of the Cardinals not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals have faced the most batters with the bases loaded this year, 200. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Cody Whitley is in, bases loaded, and 1 down. Last night struck out the side in 10 pitches. Conforto, RBI, single, and a walk, and they're all loaded up for the Mets. The opposition against St. Louis with the bases loaded, hitting 190, second lowest in baseball. Cardinals have turned a pair of double plays tonight, both off the bat of Pete Alonso, who's on deck. The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Conforto with the bases loaded does have 1 grand slam and a .288 average in his career. 2-0 the count. And Whitley has to get after Conforto here. The 2-0. There it is, 2-1.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised right there. I know he has been started him off with 2 balls. Man, you've got the winning run on third base. He just took a ball right down the middle.
Conforto hits it down the right field line, and it's foul. Just foul down the right field line, and now it's a 2-2 count.
I was going to say, I guess he knew what he was doing. Whew, there's a hanging changeup right there. Thank gosh, because if that's a fastball, that stays fair.
Certainly home run distance, but yanked it foul. 2-2 the count. Whitley, his last 7 2/3, 7 strikeouts and a 125 average against. Does it continue here? The 2-2. Now it's full. Three-2 is a fly ball. Out to left. Under it, Tyler O'Neill. He'll make the catch. Marcus Stroman will score to make it 3-2. And the Mets have the lead here in the 5th. After 3 consecutive walks issued by Daniel Ponce de Leon, Conforto out number 2, and it's runners at first and second for Pete Alonso. Oh for 2. It's grounded into 2 double plays. And the first pitch to him. Alonso pops it foul.
Man, he's trying to go deep. That's about 3 or 4 swings in the last 2 days where he's just cheated and went after it.
Hitting .212 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. And the 0-1 pitch, a changeup taken high, and it's 1-1. And my thinking on the catch with Tyler O'Neill, he understands that Stroman is a good athlete, pretty good speed, and keep the runners at first and second. Don't complicate the inning with 2 guys in scoring position.
Yeah, the one thing I did not like is he got a little flat-footed, just thinking that Villar wasn't going to run. With his speed, he can kind of get a jump and read that.
You got to get behind the ball, don't you?
Yeah, just kind of like, you don't know what that guy at second's thinking. And sometimes those guys, you think about like we talked about last night with Goldie, like all of a sudden there he goes, and you're thinking maybe not, and then he takes off and it's too late.
1-2 the count on Pete Alonso. The 1-2 pitch, and Alonso a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Whitley, and Pete snaps that bat into firewood. Mets pick up a run and a lead. Ponce de Leon and Yadier Molina after the inning came to a close.
Well, I first thought that maybe Ponce had said something to Yadi, but I think Yadi was almost looked like he had said, no, I didn't. And the only answer that I would have to that would be if Yadi said, don't show me up out there. And that doesn't happen a whole lot in this organization. So there were obviously some tense moments right there, but these guys are playing for something right now.
And we'll say this, and you understand it better than anybody. Those types of situations happen all the time.
Well, it's like fighting with your brother.
Many times it's not caught with the camera and in public view.
Well, it's like, these guys are like family. It's like fighting with your brother, My dang kids fight all day long, so I'm used to it. But that's not something that doesn't happen almost every other day in there. Someone's going to argue about something at some point, but, you hate to see it get caught on camera, but you can see it wasn't that serious. But I'll say one other thing. The fact that it looked like that Yadi was being the aggressor is the thing, that he's the leader. And so if something needs to be said, he's going to say it. And that's why he is who he is. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do. If something's going on out there that you don't like, and especially if he thinks it's directed at him, he's got to say something. Can't let that slide. And that's exactly what it looked like, because at first, like I said, I thought Ponce might have said something to him, but it was the other way around.
I think they're
fine now. But
what do you think the genesis of it is, though? Is it pitch selection? Is it frustration of 3 consecutive walks in a pennant race?
Well, I read Ponce's lips, and he said, "No, I didn't." And I'm willing to bet Yadi said something about showing me up, or not being too excited about whatever happened. So I'm sure we'll find out eventually. But that's just an unfortunate situation that happens between family members, and I'm sure they've moved on.
Here's Yadier Molina, 1 for 2, single back in the 4th. Arenado flies to center, and he is 0 for 3 tonight. Four hits aside in this game. And Molina on the first pitch grounds it to short, taken there by Lindor. Settles, and a high throw, and Alonso down on the bag.
What's your ankle?
2 away, and the batter will be Dylan Carlson.
Another one. See what he did. Started to throw it and then eased up.
Another aspect of the situation, just kind of thinking through the inning, was the ball that got through Molina on the high pitch. Maybe Ponce was frustrated with that. Well, that could be it too.
Well, and you also saw a lot of shaking going on in that inning, shaking off Yadi a lot. So who knows?
So 2 outs and nobody on. Dylan Carlson with a sac fly tonight. Good off speed pitch. And it's 0-2. I have to give Cody Whitley a lot of credit for keeping this at a 1-run deficit. Whitley came in with the bases loaded and just 1 out. After Ponce de Leon got the first man and then walked 3 straight. Tensions certainly high at Citi Field. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Off the plate, and it's 2-2. And Carlson pulls it foul. Dylan with a RBI back in the 4th inning. 51st of the year. He's also grounded out to second. Stroman at 87 pitches. Cardinals have Sosa on deck. Off the plate. Doesn't get it. Dylan's had some good swings tonight. And Jimmy, he's about ready to walk into one. You ready?
Yeah, and he's had some good at bats too. He's been really patient.
Sometimes you see him a little jumpy, and he hasn't been tonight. Dylan is sitting on 13 home runs and a changeup, and he went. It's a strikeout, and 8 tonight for Stroman. Midway through 6 in a 3-2 game. 7-year-old John Lester going tomorrow for St. Louis. Matched his season best 7 innings, 3 hits. And his last time out, that was Friday in a 4-2 loss to the Reds. And he's really picked it up, Jimmy. Last 4 starts, ERA of 1.90 for John Lester.
Well, he's figured something out, and publicly he has said that he stopped being stubborn and maybe throw a little different way. And I think he's done a nice job. I think he's now more or less kind of attack the strike zone a little bit more instead of kind of going around the strike zone. And like I've been saying since day one, I can't imagine having an Adam Wainwright who has gone through everything on your team not being able to help and help each other.
Pitch taken high, 2 balls and no strikes. It's Javi Baez, McNeil, and Pilar. And a lefty getting loose. It's Aaron Loop. Three and 0. On deck, it's Jeff McNeil. Baez tonight, a bunt, base hit, RBI with 2 outs in the first. Walked and then was picked off. And swinging on 3 and 0. Yachty knows that. Goes with an off speed.
You don't get the tag free swinger for nothing.
Fouled back, and it's 3 and 2.
How about that? Right down the middle.
The 3-2 pitch, and hit out of play by Baez. From 3 and 0 to a full count, a 1-run game here in the home half of the 6th. The Mets and the Cardinals. The next 2, Baez taken high.
And he just trying to overthrow that just a tad. Make sure he got it by him.
Well, the Mets now have received 6 walks in the last 3 innings.
He is definitely flirting with fire right there. Keep giving guys free passes.
So Baez at first. McNeil was robbed by Tommy Edman back in the first inning and also popped out to short. Justin Miller getting loose in the St. Louis pen. Pitch taken high. Ball 1. Ground ball, and it's a double play. The third double play the Mets have hit into tonight. The BJC difference maker, the double plays turned by St. Louis tonight. This one certainly helps. Did Goldie catch it? Certainly did. Then stepped on the bag. So it's a double play, and then
tagged him.
Make
again.
sure you get him there with the tag.
Sure why that was. I think that just Goldie going back with the tag threw everyone off. So that's why they're looking at it.
Nothing Baez could do there at that particular spot. And now it's Pilar with 2 outs and nobody on. He is grounded to third and flied to right. Good pitch. Strike one. Another look here at the double play.
You couldn't hit it in any worse place if you're a New York Met. I mean, think about it. He's basically hit a line drive off the bag. The first baseman is only a foot off the bag.
Yeah, ball goes into the corner. Baez might score. Popped up. Right side. Goldschmidt is there. Good work, Cody Whitley. We head to the 7th in a 1-run game. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. 7th inning rolls in. Citi Field. Mets Cardinals game 2. And St. Louis will have Sosa, Bader, and the pitcher spot coming up. Aaron Loop is the Chevy call to the pen. He's had a really good year. This is his 60th game and an ERA that's just above 1. He's awfully tough on the lefties, but he's been tough on everybody. Cardinals on their bench from the right side. They've got Kisner, DeYoung, Rondon, and Lars Nootbaar available from the left side. Edmundo Sosa struck out on a 3-2 pitch looking in the second and reached on an error by Marcus Stroman in the 4th. Stroman goes 6 innings tonight. Couple of runs, 4 hits. Walked 1 and struck out 8. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. First pitch to Sosa. Edmundo Sosa with a fly ball out to left, and the catch is made by McNeil.
Man, that's a nice swing right there. Just got inside right there. Just didn't get the barrel out quick enough, and that's one of those ones when you go back and, oh man, I just missed that.
Harrison Bader 0 for 2. He is struck out and grounded out with 2 runners on, sharply to third. Cardinals fell behind 2-0 in this game, tied it up at 2-2, and the Mets have taken the lead. And they did so without a base hit. In the 5th inning, 3 walks to load him up. Sac fly by Conforto, and that's the difference. And Bader hits it out to left. McNeil again.
You can hear the difference in the bat, can't you, when they hit it off the end and then a little bit inside like Sosa did. Just not square.
So here is DeYoung, who has been Babe Ruth against the Mets in his career. Incredible numbers against New York. A lot of home runs, extra base hits, and damage. He's homered in 5 of the last 6 games he's played in, at Citi Field. With those that have at least 100 plate appearances against New York, DeYoung first all-time in slugging percentage, trails only Stan the Man in OPS. That's how good he's been.
That's interesting.
And it says Cabrera getting loose for St. Louis. And the 1-1 is off the end of the bat. Now 1-2. Pirates have beaten the Reds 6-5. Now a final. And a strikeout of DeYoung, so Loop a 1-2-3. Time to stretch at Citi Field, 3-2.
The seventh inning, a solid inning in 2/3 for Cody Whitley tonight coming out of the bullpen. He has been very effective since being recalled by the club on August 28th. Cody told me earlier today a lot of what he's been channeling comes from Adam Wainwright, even for guys from the bullpen. But he told me when he got sent down to Memphis earlier this season, of course, it was a tough decision, but he knew it was the best for him considering he had such a light workload in the shortened 2020 season. He told me the biggest thing for him to focus on was consistently throwing strikes. One pitch shy of an immaculate inning last night, so he's certainly getting closer. Mike Schilt told me before the game today, Cody is certainly a deserving candidate of pitching in some of those higher leverage situations right now. Danny?
Well, we see it again. Thank you, Erica. Here tonight, Cody Whitley comes in at a key spot with the bases loaded. 1 out. Got the final 2 outs. Did give up a run as the Mets have gone on top without a hit in that inning. It's 3 consecutive walks by Daniel Ponce de Leon. He got the first man, and then he walked the pitcher, Marcus Stroman, then Villar and Lindor. Whitley came in, got the out of Conforto that brought in Marcus Stroman, and then the strikeout of Pete Alonso. Tomas Nido, bottom of the 7th, 3-2 our score. And the first pitch on the ground, backhanded by Sosa, settles and makes the play.
It's a nice play right there. That's an underrated nice play, going in the hole that far. Think about what you're doing there. You're backhanding a ball, and you're about as far away from first base as you're going to get as a shortstop with the ability to throw out the hitter. Even though the catcher's running, you still have to throw it with some effort and get it over there on time.
Batter will be J.D. Davis, pinch hitting for Loop, and then we'll see VR. Jerry's Familia, former closer of the Mets, getting loose. Diaz has been their closer. And Davis hits one into deep left center. Bader back near the wall, and he's got it. J.D. Davis gave it a ride, but that's out number 2. So 2 outs and nobody on. Cardinals Budweiser teaming up to invite fans to a Friday game and enjoy the first beer on them. First Beer Fridays, just $15. Get a ticket and a cold one. Cardinals.com/Friday today. So 2 outs, and here is VR.
Where do I sign up for that?
VR has singled and scored. That was an infield hit in the first. Grounded into a fielder's choice and walked in the 5th. Cardinals have issued 6 walks tonight. And yet it's a 1-run game. Fastball and a strike on the outside corner.
Wow. That is unusual for tonight, don't you think?
Home plate umpire's been pretty good.
Been really good. I think he's missed one pitch all game before that one right there. And he didn't call a pitch at the top of the zone, a strike earlier on.
Yachty trying to frame that up. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cardinals in the 8th inning against Familia will have Edman, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, the top of the lineup.
I'll tell you what, the one thing that can give him credit for is you can call a pitch out there once in a while on accident, but you can't give him both. You can't give him off the plate outside and then inside edge or inside off, or even, I don't know, if you're going to go 4 inches outside, you almost can't even give him a strike on the inside. So pretty sure that that's pretty normal for everyone all the way around.
2-1 pitch. Blew it by him, and it's 2-2.
Some kind of heater right there.
This has been some kind of game.
Gotta figure out a way to pull this one out.
Game number 144 for the St. Louis Cardinals. And again, the Reds losing tonight. The 2-2 pitch. Genesis Cabrera to VR. He got him. And a strikeout. 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. And the top of the St. Louis lineup is coming up in a 1-run game. Each club has committed an error. And the Mets a 3-2 lead. Late in game 2, the 8th inning. Jerry's Familia. The Chevy called to the pen. Familia has been scored upon in each of his last 2 outings. Inning and a third and 3 earned and a couple of home runs allowed. The Cardinals will have the top of their lineup. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, and Tyler O'Neill. His 4-seamer is a tough pitch. Opponent is 3 for 34 against that, so we'll keep an eye on that this inning. Strikeout guy. He's had 5 seasons now of at least 65 Ks. Tommy Edman, an infield hit back in the 5th. The first pitch is taken at 96 with good movement and sink.
That was not pretty right there if you're a hitter.
Edman 1 for 3 tonight. Struck out, fly to left, and the base hit. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike.
As if 96 and sink wasn't enough. He gave a little extra oomph right there.
Both clubs really in desperate need of a win here tonight. Cardinals began play a half game back of the Reds. They have lost. The 1-1 hit out of play. Lefties slightly better against Familia, average wise 253, 5 home runs. The righties 241, 4 homers against the Mets right-hander.
Surprised the right-handers are that good against him with that sinker. Well, and the velocity with the run too. It's pretty good stuff right there.
The 1-2. Tried to speed up the delivery just a bit, and it evens it up at 2-2.
It's a 4-seamer right there, just straight and away.
The 2-2 pitch to Tommy Edman. And a full count.
Throw pitches like that at 92. I feel like if you throw that over the plate, how's that going to be hit? You know, you see the ball jumping out of his hand at 92 and then just dive straight down. And that's just like, You know, it's like that slider that goes down instead of across. There's no way to keep up with it. You can't chase it down. The only reason you can hit sliders that stay up is because they slide along the bat path.
Full count pitch here to Tommy Edman. Got him. 97 and the great movement. That's the 10th strikeout in the St. Louis lineup tonight, and it brings in Goldschmidt, who is 1 for 9 against the Mets right-hander head-to-head. Last night, Paul Goldschmidt with home run number 25. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. One out and nobody on. First pitch to Goldie. And ball one. Picked up the Cardinals' first hit of the night against Marcus Stroman back in the 4th. Double inside the right field line. And he also scored the first run for St. Louis tonight. Both runs scored back in the 4th to tie it up at 2. Mets now a 3-2 lead. The 1-0 pitch. Marcus Stroman, 6 innings, 4 hits, couple of runs, struck out 8. Then it was Loop, a 1-2-3, 7th. And now Familia. Shift on the left side of the infield, 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0. The 2-1. 3-1. The Cubs now lead the Phillies 6-3. Latter stages of that ball game.
I was going to tell you that a second ago, and I was just looking at the wild card standings, and now it shows updated standings where all 3 teams, San Diego, St. Louis, and Cincinnati, are tied as of right this moment. Barring the outcome of this game will change it.
3-1 pitch, and it's tapped foul. Full count.
It's like he's like,
what do you think he comes with here on 3-2?
If you erase the miles per hour right there, you wouldn't think that was 97. It looks like a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
It's not like coming out like a regular sinker. It almost looks like it's got a little dive, but almost like a little cut to it. It's not really running. It's just doing weird stuff. It's like throwing a 100-mile-an-hour spitball. It's crazy.
3-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. And he walked him. The tying run is aboard. The 1-out walk.
And he just buried a four-seamer right there. He's trying to throw a four-seamer there so it didn't move out of the zone, and he just threw it down. But those other pitches that are moving, holy moly. That's why I said when you just go up there and you're just like, I'm just going to take. And hopefully he doesn't throw me too many strikes.
O'Neill against Familia is 0 for 2. Tyler O'Neill with an RBI single back in the 4th. He's driven in 57. O'Neill with a drive into deep center and gone. Tyler O'Neill launched it to center, and the Redbirds have the lead in New York. Number 26 for Tyler O'Neill, and he's driven in 3 of the 4 tonight.
I'll tell you what, man, that is something special.
Wow. 3rd consecutive game that Jerry's Familia is allowed a home run, and this one a no-doubter to center.
Ooh.
Wow.
Two-seamer that didn't move right there. Look at Miles. Think these guys aren't fired up?
Here's Arenado. 26 home runs for the Cardinals left fielder. We came into this season wondering if he played every day, where would the numbers be? He may be over 30 before it's all said and done.
Definitely got that potential, and he's got that power, clearly. I mean, wow.
First pitch of the at-bat. Third time he's done that this year with a home run. Cardinals lead it for the first time tonight, 4-3. And the 1-1. The sink on that pitch.
See that pitch I'm talking about?
I like this pitch.
That just didn't catch a seam, and it didn't go down, and pow. And he knew it.
The 1-2 pitch to Arenado. And that's hit out of play. Wow. The 1-2. And Arenado with a base hit into right.
Great battle, great swing right there.
And the boos starting to come out in New York.
A little bit of a slider right there that doesn't do much. And tell you what, I just think anytime you're battling a guy like this, look, it's just spinning. And you can stay on a slider when he's throwing 98 with sink and run. You're doing a heck of a job.
Home run by Tyler O'Neill, measured at 439 feet, 111 miles per hour off the bat. Trevor May throwing for New York in their pen, right-hander. The pregame show featured a famous home run in September when these two teams were in the same division. Terry Pendleton against Roger McDowell. Talked to Terry about it a couple of years ago, and he said he purposely moved up in the box because of the sinker of Roger McDowell and hit a home run at Shea that changed the fortunes of both clubs for that particular season, as these two teams in the 80s always went back and forth. And this one has a chance to maybe be memorable as well. Cardinals with a one-run lead now here in the top of the 8th. And it's Yadier Molina, who's 1 for 3 on the night.
Wow, that's a big, big, big home run. And you just think about, we were just talking about
Yadi hits it foul.
Just talking about the standings and how the 3 teams are tied until the end of this game, and pow, homer to put them up.
That is just foul.
Look at the ball kick back to the right there.
It's got to cross the bag. Did not. The Mets will have Lindor, Conforto, and Alonso due up. Nobody throwing for the St. Louis Cardinals in their pen after Genesis Cabrera enjoyed a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. The 0-1 pitch now to Yadier Molina. 0-2. Molina, by the way, is 5 for 9 against Familia. 3 doubles and a walk.
Cabrera's fired up, huh?
He will be.
See some more dancing out there.
The 0-2. And a foul ball that caught the bat of Molina and then caught the catcher, Tomas Nido.
That hit a bunch of things, man. Side of the face.
Watch this thing ricochet all over the place. Oh, God. Right
got him on the side of the neck. That's one of the areas that is not really protected all that much. Now, he does have the hockey-style mask, which may have caught a little bit of it.
We went through that window with Yachty turning his head a lot. Remember that one year?
Oh, yeah.
And anytime you reach out, obviously the shoulder moves with you, and then that whole area opens up, and that doesn't happen very often, but that weird angle right there. Look at the black eye on
I'm not sure why the umpire is here. We saw Mike Schilt go out and talk to the home plate umpire. And
Danny, look at the black eye on Junior Valentine.
I've seen it.
That's crazy.
Catcher's interference is the only thing. Oh, yeah, it sure is. That's the only thing I can think of. And right there, you've got it. Well, you can have catcher's interference, which is a manager challenge, except for, and it makes sense, squeeze play or steal of home. But in this case, catcher's interference, and that looks to be pretty plain that indeed is. Yes, it is. So Yachty will be awarded first base, and that'll put Nolan Arenado in scoring position. And a good catch by the bench.
I'll tell you where that came from. You know where that came from? Chad Blair. I mean, how does anyone see that with all that going on?
And Yachty really didn't sell it all that much either.
I think it was such a bang bang that you couldn't really tell. It's almost, if we didn't have replay, you wouldn't be able to see it at fast motion because they literally almost hit at the same time. But I mean, wow, that's a crazy play.
May will come in, and Familia hearing it from the folks in New York. He's got 2 walks in 4 of his 60 appearances. And he's been used a lot out of the bullpen for the Mets. And Osheby called to the pen, so May is in. That'll be an air charge to Tomas Nido on the catcher's interference. So the second error the Mets have committed in this game. Cardinals have out hit the Mets 6-4. They lead it 4-3. If you just joined us, a 2-run homer hit by Tyler O'Neill here in the top of the 8th.
Trevor May coming in. Fastball slider change. 96, 97 mile an hour fastball. Who doesn't throw 96, 97 anymore?
Dylan Carlson with a sac fly back in the 4th. And Dylan hits a high fly ball down the right field line. That ball is just foul.
Getting closer.
Mentioned it earlier. He's taking some pretty good swings.
Everybody in this building is waiting for him to hit one tonight.
Familia struck out Edmund, and Goldie the walk. 2-run homer by O'Neill. After that, the base hit into right by Arenado. Then the catcher's interference on Yadier Molina. So runners at first and second. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. For Tyler O'Neill, what a time to do it. His second career go-ahead home run in the 8th inning or later. The first was September 22nd of 18 and a walk-off against the Giants. Taken high. 3 balls, 1 strike. Let's see if he gets something to drive here. Cardinals are 8 for 21 with runners in scoring position in the series. 97 swung through by Dylan Carlson. Now 3-2. Edmundo Sosa on deck. Luis Garcia begins to throw in the St. Louis pen. A strikeout of Dylan Carlson.
Just a really good pitch. And wow, 99.
A little bit of a late call, but it looked to be a strike.
Yeah, you know what? The slider down, right? The fastball up, so the eye levels change, and then I'm sure when that ball comes down, he's expecting a slider or something to run out of the zone, and it just stayed up right there. Good four-seamer at 99 and doesn't move at all.
Here's Sosa, reached on an air back in the 4th. He is struck out and flied out. And that pitch taken high. The 1-0. A ball and a strike on Edmundo Sosa. The Mets in the bottom of the 8th will have Lindor, Conforto, and Alonso. The 1-1. Now 1-2.
Might have been guessing slider right there by the speed of that bat. Well, there's your hero right there. Let's see if they can keep it
for the moment.
Right here, yes, sir.
For the moment. The 1-2 pitch to Sosa. Outside. Two on, 2 outs, 2-2. Runners off with this pitch on 3-2. Bader on deck.
There's a pitcher right there throwing 99 miles an hour. You have to ask yourself, how does he lay off that pitch right there?
(3-2). Fouled back. Pitch number 13 coming up in the inning. For May. 3-2 to Sosa. On its way. Chops it left side. And VR on the short hop makes the play. Tyler O'Neill. After the walk to Paul Goldschmidt. Memories of Terry Pendleton maybe. Here in 2021. 4-3 St. Louis. Citi Field in New York. This all-important series, the Mets and Cardinals. It's been back and forth here in Game 2. The Cardinals a 4-3 lead. The wild card standings. For the moment, St. Louis tied with San Diego and Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Reds losing a game against Pittsburgh. The Phillies losing currently against the Cubs. San Diego down by a run in their game. And here we go in the 8th. Lindor, the switch hitter. Beautiful breaking ball by Cabrera in strike one, who pitched in the 7th and had a 1-2-3, which included a strikeout of VR. Lindor, from this side of the plate, 4 of his 17 home runs. The 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2. Conforto and then Pete Alonso.
Another fastball.
The 0-2. Fouled back. Maybe an inning in which you see Genesis Cabrera. You turn around Lindor, lesser side power-wise, then lefty-lefty matchup with Michael Conforto, and then with Pete Alonso, you go to Luis Garcia. We'll see. The 0-2 pitch. 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes, and the next to Lindor. He got him. It's a strikeout for Cabrera. Held on to by Molina, and the first out here in the home half of the 8th.
Just a straight power fastball. A good look right here. Just swings right through it. Look at that, man. The ball is jumping out of his hand tonight.
They have announced Conforto. I was thinking that they might go with Dominic Smith. And you say, well, why would you do that? Lefty-lefty matchup. Dominic Smith, 814 OPS against lefties this year. Conforto against left-handed pitching is hitting 188. And all 12 of his home runs have come against righties.
That was a tough matchup for any left-hander.
Sure it is.
Let alone guys struggling against left-handers.
Here's an 0-1 pitch by Genesis Cabrera to Conforto. Fastball taken low at 99. There are the splits for Conforto. And again, Dominic Smith, 325 average, above an 814 OPS against the lefties. And that's the second best average against left-handed pitching among all left-handed batters. As Conforto hits that out of play. They stick with Michael Conforto here, 1-2, and Pete Alonso on deck. The 1-2 pitch. It's another 1-2. Breaking ball, and Conforto stays away. That's a good pitch.
And that's a great take right there. It's back to my old saying, if you got a guy like this throwing, you're basically looking dead red, and if he spins it, you got to kind of just hope it's not a good strike, because most of the time they're not.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And the next by Cabrera. Out of play, 98, up and in. If you're wondering, Genesis Cabrera and Pete Alonso have never faced each other. And that may continue
Yeah, he might
here tonight.
stay that way.
Might be Luis Garcia. Garcia throwing in the St. Louis pen. The 2-2. On the ground to Sosa. 2 away. What a job here by Genesis Cabrera. That's 5 up, 5 down. And it brings in Pete Alonso.
It's a pretty good at bat for Conforto right there. Did everything he could possibly do.
Mike Schilt will go to Luis Garcia to face Pete Alonso, who is grounded into a pair of double plays. He is struck out and is hitless thus far in the series. 5 up, 5 down. Genesis Cabrera. Garcia. Alonso. 1-run game when we come back. He has been remarkable since he put on the birds on the bat. Luis Garcia. And he will face Pete Alonso, the second fastest player to reach 100 career home runs in the history of baseball. Only Ryan Howard got there quicker. Alonso with 32 home runs this year. A 1-run game in the bottom of the 8th. And the first pitch to Pete Alonso. Breaking ball and nasty in there for a strike. Alonso, his previous at bat, he came up with runners at first and second back in the 5th against Cody Whitley. Struck out, snapped the bat over his leg. Grounded into a pair of double plays. The 0-1 pitch. Alonso to third. Arenado stays down on it. And the Cardinals head to the 9th with a 1-run lead here in game 2. It's 4-3 St. Louis.
Gary will join us. We'll talk about Tyler O'Neill's big night, and we'll update you on the wild card standings and the games we are watching. That more coming up on Cardinals Live following tonight's game. Denny, Jimmy, back to you guys.
The hard-throwing Edwin Diaz, the closer of the Mets. Strikeout guy, 82 strikeouts in 56 2/3 innings. Tied for 4th in the National League in strikeouts for relievers. And the Chevy called to the pen. The 9th inning rolls in. And the Cardinals have Harrison Bader, then Garcia's spot. We'll see a pinch hitter in Tommy Edman as Giovanni Gallegos is throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. Harrison Bader is 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out swinging, grounded out to third, and fly to left. And the first pitch to him. A slider on the outside portion of the plate for a ball. And the 1-0. Another slider, and that catches the bottom of the strike zone. 1-1. The Mets in the bottom of the 9th will have Baez, McNeil, and Pilar. 1 ball, 1 strike on Harrison Bader. Pulls it foul and out of play. Diaz, like Familia, here recently has struggled. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 walks, and 4 runs. Bader puts it in play slowly, and it's under the glove of Lindor. And that could be, depending on the ruling, the 3rd error on the Mets tonight.
I mean, this is that speed right here, that slow infield.
And that will be an error on Francisco Lindor.
He's also got to make one heck of a play to throw him out if he catches that.
Lars Nootbaar to pinch hit. So you used Carpenter earlier. And the idea is if you're going to use a lefty, you save Nootbaar for this spot. Carpenter's been struggling. Nootbaar, you just don't know. He might walk into one, but he himself here recently has been struggling a bit too.
You know, the just difference in the swing, right? The flat swing, put the ball in play a little bit differently. Carpenter, you threw up there, hoping to run into one early.
Showing bunt and looks at a ball at 98, up and away.
Good job right there.
Harrison Bader, your runner at first base. Top of the ninth in a one-run game. Another check on Bader. You know, it's a tough crowd when even the hometown fans start to boo you. That's what's happening here with Diaz. Nootbaar again squares to bunt. And there's strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, they say sometimes the breaking ball is an easier pitch to bunt. Now, I have heard that. Maybe you could dispute that. Especially righty lefty kind of comes in, you catch it with the bat. If he knows that, get a fastball, pull back, and let it rip. Got a fastball at 97. And Nootbaar is out at first.
He doesn't like to throw to first base either. I don't really agree with that.
You've heard it though.
Yeah, but I just think you just look right there. It's what's that 98-mile-an-hour fastball right there, and just nice and easy stays up there and does his job. I don't want to like. The biggest problem with bunting is a lot of guys don't get down in there with their legs, and so they want to dive up and down with their bat and their body, and where you just really have to move your hands, and so. When you have to kind of guide the curveball, it all just depends on what kind of curveball it is. You know, my job if I ever bunted was I was just looking for a fastball out over the plate to bunt to third, and if anything was spinning, unless it just sat there, I'd probably just take it.
Tommy Edman, and he looks at his strike. Edman.
I think just
1 for 4 tonight with a pair of strikeouts and that base hit and infield hit.
From my experience, I think whatever just catches your eye, good or bad, is how you approach bunting.
Edman, a ground ball to second. Bader to third, and it brings in Goldschmidt, who's been on base 3 times tonight. He scored a pair of runs, doubled inside the first base line back in the 4th. That was the first Cardinal hit against Marcus Stroman. And the 2 walks, and the walk in the 8th, he came around to score on the 2-run homer hit by Tyler O'Neill. First pitch to Goldschmidt is a fastball taken outside. Again, the Mets in the bottom of this 9th inning will have Baez, McNeil, and Pilar. Giovanni Gallegos, plenty of time to get loose. And the 1-0 pitch. 1-2. And Bader back in safely. So Bader properly taking the lead in foul territory, coming back in fair territory. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Shift on the left side of the infield. The 1-2. And Goldie pops it up right side. Pete Alonso is under it and has it. Sends us to the bottom of the 9th. Baez, McNeil, Pilar due up. We move to the bottom of the 9th. And here in game 2 in the 8th, Cardinals down by a run, and Tyler O'Neill, our Budweiser play of the game. O'Neill now with 26 home runs, and he's driven in 3 of the 4 tonight, and the Cardinals are 3 outs away from taking game 2, and in doing so moving into what would be sole possession of the second wild card spot. The Chevy called to the pen, Giovanni Gallegos, and he will face Javi Baez. Bunted back in the first. It resulted in a run batted in, and a diving attempt by the pitcher at the time, Jake Woodford. A couple of walks in this game. Baez, McNeil, Pilar due up. The Cardinals got 4 out of Woodford. Third of an inning, 3 walks from Daniel Ponce de Leon. Cody Whitley and Genesis Cabrera, outstanding work. Whitley came in with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th. Then you had Cabrera, inning and 2/3. Luis Garcia got the all-important out of Pete Alonso to keep it a 1-run difference. And that was back in the 8th. And now here we are in the 9th. The last 4 games for Gallegos, 4 saves, 3 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, 7 strikeouts. You want playoff baseball, you got it now.
It's been an interesting matchup right here, I think, with the slider. And Baez obviously faced Gallegos so much, but can he lay off a good slider?
He is 1 for 6 against Gallegos, and the first pitch is hammered out to left. O'Neill back, gone. Javi Baez has tied it up at 4-4. On base for the 4th time in his 31st home run. Now McNeil tied up at 4, and he hits it out of play. First pitch of the bottom of the 9th, and Javi Baez all over it. Tremendous effort again by O'Neill, and the Mets have tied it here in the 9th. The 0-1. McNeil pops it up left side. Arenado over and has it. Nolan Arenado reaching into the St. Louis dugout and comes up with the first out here in the bottom of the ninth. Reaching for the fence with his right hand and just enough room with the left.
He was just shy of where he thought he was going to be. And it's a heck of a play with concentration. A different ballpark. Right there on the edge of the bench.
Kevin Pillar, 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded out to third. Fly to right. Popped out to first. And the slider taken for a strike. Nothing in 2. For Giovanni Gallegos, his 8th blown save of the season. Tied for the Major League lead with Brent Suter, Brad Hand, and Daniel Bard. And the 0-2 pitch to Pillar. If we get to the 10th, the Cardinals would have O'Neill, Arenado, and Molina, with Goldschmidt as your runner at second base to start the inning. Dominic Smith has moved to the on-deck circle. He would hit for Tomas Nido. The 0-2. The 1-2. And Pillar pops it back in. Foul and out of play. While we have a moment, quick word from Ryan Kelly.
The only thing faster than the supersonic golf cart is the 21-day closing guarantee. Only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
Ouch. We caught Yachty on the foul ball.
Oh, a tip of the knee.
One ball and 2 strikes on Pillar. Javi Baez has tied it here in the bottom of the ninth. First pitch at the bottom of the ninth with his 31st home run. And Pillar lifts a fly ball into right field. Catch made by Dylan Carlson, and out number 2. Dominic Smith will pinch hit for Tomas Nido. It's the backup catcher McCann on deck. 2 outs and nobody on. Smith 4 for 15 as a pinch hitter this year. First pitch to him. And a strike, as the strike zone has gotten a little bit bigger as the game has gone on.
Definitely a little bit wider.
Javi Baez, his 16th career home run, 9th inning or later. 3 of those have come now against St. Louis. Mentioned the splits with Dominic Smith against right-handers. He's batting .212. And the lefties is where his power has come from. Does have 9 home runs, though, against the righties. And that's Heath Hembree getting loose for the Mets in their bullpen. 0-2 the count. The next by Gallegos to the backstop. The 1-2, and Smith hits it out of play. Sure, there might be some fans wondering why that ball was a home run that Baez hit, and it has to go over the yellow line in left as they reconfigured portions of this ballpark a few years ago. So well over the left line, and clearly the home run hit by Baez.
It is kind of funny when you see a home run ball bounce back on the field so easily.
There it is down the left field line. One and two the count on Dominic Smith. And he got him. First pitch of the inning, a home run by Baez. Gallegos gets the next 3, and we have extra innings. Why not? Nothing easy in 2021. In the 8th, Tyler O'Neill with the Cardinals down 3-2, hit a 2-run homer. Baez, after the Cardinals went on top, ties it up with a solo home run. 10th inning, game 2. Such an important series for both these clubs. Our Chevy called to the pen takes us to Heath Hembree. And we saw Hembree pitch in the 6th inning last night. Gave up a couple of hits. Chevy called to the pen. Stroman went 6. Loop had a 7th. Familia gave up the home run to O'Neill in the 8th. Diaz a scoreless 9th. And now Hembree here in the 10th. It will be for St. Louis. Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, and Yadier Molina. And Paul Goldschmidt will start at second base in extra innings here in the 10th. Alex Reyes will begin to throw for the Cardinals in their bullpen.
Hembree, another hard throwing right-hander coming out of the bullpen. 96, 95 average fastball, slider, and a curveball.
O'Neill with 3 runs batted in tonight. He's now up to 59 and up to 26 home runs with that long blast to center his last time up. Left on the Cardinal bench, it's Andrew Kisner and Jose Rondon. Goldschmidt, very good base runner at second base. And the first pitch, O'Neill takes a strike.
I'd like to see at the end of the year the stats of the teams that bunt versus the teams that don't. It would almost be like watching a football team for the course of the season and how many times they go for it on fourth down versus, I
think it depends on whether you're road or home and how you want to play it. Some managers do it differently.
I just don't know how you don't try to play for one run regardless.
The 0-1.
I mean, if you're in the 8th inning right now,
that's the problem, though, is that where you're at in your lineup, you're not going to bunt Tyler O'Neill.
I was just having that conversation with the truck. I'm saying the team, I think, that is at the most probably, or at the least advantage would be the team with the heart of the order up. It was like, if you're at the bottom of the top of the order, that's almost a no-brainer. You're going to do it in the 7th and 8th and maybe even the 9th. Why not do it in the 10th? But yeah, when you have your 4, 5, and 6 coming up, I mean, it's hard to bunt guys over, but I think that could be a problem.
So the 9th extra inning game for the Cardinals. They're 6-2 this year. The 0-2 pitch. Taken just a bit high. Mets, it's their 17th extra inning game. And they're 10-6. The Cardinals in extra innings on the road, 3-0.
I can't believe that it's only been 9 extra inning games. Seems like that's sometimes a month or two. When you're going bad.
The 1-2. O'Neill stays alive.
I think you just have to reiterate the fact that is just something he could not do last year. He wouldn't even come close to that ball last year.
Mets in their half of the 10th will have McCann, who's now the catcher, Villar, and Lindor. Cardinals 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. Shift on the left side and the 1-2. Got him with a fastball to 97. Going to intentionally pass Nolan Arenado. So runners at first and second for Yadier Molina. Nolan since 2015 among the league leaders in go-ahead home runs. So Yadi will come up. And he will have runners at first and second with 1 down. Reached on catcher's interference back in the 8th. Single to center. He's been on base 5 times in the 2 games against the Mets so far. And we know he's had a flair for the dramatic over the years. The Mets saw that firsthand back in 06.
Well, the good news, this kind of plays right into his hand, right? I mean, you can go out there and take a rip first pitch, or you could battle. But hit the ball at the middle or the other way. You're just trying to score a run. Put all the pressure on the home team.
Molina hitting .320 with runners in scoring position this year. Big gap in left center. 1 out, 2 on here in the top of the 10th. Loves to jump on that first pitch. Fouled back.
See what he did right there too. He thinking maybe he's not going to get a pitch to pull. He went ahead and just dove out there and tried to hit it in the gap at right center. Wasn't trying to pull that ball at all.
Mets fans can't get rid of those two, Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina. Back to Hembree, and this should be 2. It's a double play. The Mets have a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 10th when we come back. Home half of the 10th, tied at 4. Tyler O'Neill put the Cardinals on top in the 8th with a 2-run homer. Goldie 1 for 3. Baez tied it in the 9th with a solo home run. Michael Conforto is 1 for 2. So you have the 9 position in the lineup for the Mets. And our Chevy call to the pen takes us to Alex Reyes. The 9 position is now occupied by McCann. The 8th position is the pitcher spot, which then you go in front of him in the lineup, as you don't have to have your pitcher running in that spot. Alex Reyes, we wondered last night, is it something that springboards him to better things down the stretch here in September because of what happened last night? In the 8th, leadoff walk, then a base hit, and then he strikes out the next 3. Alonso, Baez, and McNeil. And you made the point that you felt that mechanically he seemed to be more in sync as the inning went on, and clearly the results were there.
He got 23 pitches last night too, and like the more he throws, it's crazy. It seems like he's been out there every night now. It's almost every other night except for this will be back to back. But see how he bounces back, and we talked about it all day today. That could springboard him into a better position, and everything could start to take off from here. Well, we're going to get a chance to see right now.
You have good speed in Pilar at second base. Outfield straight away. And the batter is James McCann.
How do you not bunt right here? Just saying. You almost have to, don't you?
Cardinals thinking that. Corners are in. First pitch swinging, fouled back. Maybe one of the reasons is to give him one shot at it because he has 3 extra base hits, 6 runs batted in his last 4 games. But certainly you do put the pressure on the defense not only to make the play but then deal with a runner at third, 1 out potentially. And Arenado backing up the 0-1 pitch. Check swing. Did not go. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, first 2 pitches he's swinging away, it looks like.
I'll tell you what, you lose this game in New York without bunting right here, you might be in trouble as the manager. I don't know how you don't. Unless this guy just flat out can't bunt, I still try. You got to get this run in. It's like playoff time, right? If this is the playoffs, you're bunting. If you're trying to win this game, you're bunting.
Good pitch in there for a strike, and now it's 1-2.
I mean, it's not like the guy on the mound is firing 4-seamers right down the middle with nothing else to show you.
And the corners now can back up. That's Goldschmidt along with Nolan Arenado. A ball and 2 strikes. First plate appearance of the night for McCann. The 1-2 off the end of the bat, and that will roll fair. Yachty was going to let it go to see if it went foul, but he gets the out. Now Pilar is at third with 1 away.
You just pulled a rabbit out of your hat right there.
You see Yachty waited till the very last second to pick it up.
Smart play right here by Yachty, doing the best he can.
And it started foul.
Yep, it just came back. I mean, how lucky do you get the New York Mets right there?
Infield in, outfield shallow, and now Reyes needs a strikeout of VR. VR has been on base twice. Infield hit in the first, scored a run, and walked in the 5th. And the first pitch taken for a ball. Now time is called as they look into the St. Louis dugout. And so Mike Schilt will go ahead and make a change here and bring in an extra infielder in this particular spot. Rondon. So he will take out probably Dylan Carlson. Carlson, though, is due up first. Yep, he's going to take out Dylan. And he'll go with an infield, with an extra infielder in this spot. So you add Rondon to the infield to go with two outfielders here, O'Neill and Bader. And you can see him right there. He's saying, play the gaps. Yeah, play the gaps. And so Mike Shildt saw the first pitch. And Rondon going in for Carlson. And that's the defensive alignment on the infield.
Let me ask you a question. I know this is a crazy thought, but instead of taking somebody out of the game, would you think of maybe in the future bringing Dylan and putting him at first and then sliding Goldie over?
I think you want a middle infielder, though, up the middle.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Yep. Get a little bit more range in that regard.
Yeah, I get that. But I also think about if you don't score right here, you've just, you start to empty out your bench.
The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. You also get to a point where you're in a hitter's count, and sometimes you think about putting people on.
Yeah, well, I think you can do whatever you want here as a pitcher. You got 2 bases open, and you can just try to make nasty pitches.
2-0. Off the plate, 3-0. Francisco Lindor on deck, and then after him, it's Conforto. Now we know about the issues of Reyes throwing strikes at times too, and that's something to think about.
Getting nervous.
You're not the only one. 3-0 pitch to VR, and a little check swing that'll roll foul.
Look at Yachty. He's like, please hit something and roll fair.
May have chased ball 4.
Oh, for sure. But he wants to hit. I do not want to drive this run in.
So then the question becomes, if he gets on, you walk Lindor, you could set up Conforto, but then you may have to deal with Alonso. 3-2. Right now, Reyes is thinking, let's get this guy right now. Nasty pitch here. And I'm way out in front. A 3-2 pitch to VR. Grounded foul. He doubled up there on the changeup.
Yeah, I mean, sky's the limit with what you want to do. Obviously, you got, like I said, you can throw anything right here. Out of the zone, trying to get him chased. What's his chase pitch? You go after it. No reason to give him something to hit. And you start all over with the next guy.
3-2 pitch again. And he walked him. Doesn't get the call on the inside corner. There have been times that's been a strike tonight. Doesn't go his way. Runners at the corners.
What a pitch.
Now, you do have the double play potentially in order. And you could move back Tommy Edman if you wanted to the outfield. If the Cardinals indeed want to do that, that doesn't catch the inside corner. We'll see how Mike Shildt wants to play the defensive alignment. It'll be Rondon who goes to the outfield.
Did you see how quick Yachty snapped his head around to say, hey?
Now Lindor. On base twice with a single and a walk. Middle infield is back. First pitch off the plate. Alex Reyes faced Alonso last night and struck him out. So do you want to face Lindor here or load him up and take your chances with Conforto and then potentially Alonso? The 1-0 pitch. Lindor, ground ball out there, the throw to the plate, and they got a run down. The tag applied. It's a double play. Goldie stepped on the bag. To Yachty, to third. It's a double play, and let's go to the 11th. Holy smokes! We're tied 4-4. Smart play from what should be the Gold Glover this year at first base, Paul Goldschmidt. Do you go to second for 2, or do you go to the plate? You step on the bag and you make sure you get that run. Well, and make sure it does not cross the plate.
100%. And I think that's all he can think of is, if he goes to second right there, then you have 2 guys in a rundown. Because this guy, clearly, he's not even trying to go to second. So he just goes to the plate and just makes sure this run cannot score, instead of the run down between first and second, and then figuring out how you're going to cut off the run going to the plate if there is a rundown.
It's such a smart play with the game on the line, the way that things have gone tonight, back and forth. Amazing. Wow. What a game this has been. Cardinals took the lead on a 2-run homer hit by Tyler O'Neill in the 8th. Javi Baez tied it up 4-4 in the 9th. Neither team scores in the 10th, and now we go to the 11th. It'll be Rondon, Sosa, and Harrison Bader against Jake Reed, who was just activated off the injured list in a Chevy called to the pen.
The only bad news here is you got Yachty at second.
And that pitch way inside. Jose Rondon came in to be the extra infielder, wound up in the outfield in that inning. Molina, the go-ahead run in the 11th at second base. And the 1-0. Inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike.
But you position Rondon up the middle, right? And he gets a ground ball and throws somebody out. Is that a 9-3? He clearly is the right fielder.
Kwang Hun Kim throwing, the lefty in the bullpen for St. Louis. The 1-1. Rondon, a base hit into right. And Molina will be held up at third. Runners at the corners.
Good at bat.
And nobody out.
Good at bat. He was trying to hit the ball the other way, and he did, and he was rewarded with a base hit.
Hard hit ball, and the outfielders on both sides are not playing normal depth because of this, with a runner at second in a tie game. So I'm not sure it really would have mattered who's out there running. If you had Kisner, Yachty's not going to score, and probably Kisner either. You don't take the chance. It's runners at the corners now. And it is Sosa.
Hard. Yeah, you're right. Dead on. Now you just want the ball put in play.
And McCann calls time. The wheels are spinning now on both sides. Left on the bench, by the way, for the Cardinals, it's Andrew Kisner. On the bench for the Mets, Almora and Guillorme. Mets will have Conforto, Alonso, and Baez in their half of the 11th. This has just been an incredible Major League Baseball game, with a lot on the line for both teams.
Spaced out scoring, but a lot going on.
And Mundo Sosa reached on an error in the 4th. He is struck out, fly to left, and also grounded out to 3rd. Runners at 1st and 3rd. First pitch to Sosa.
It's interesting here too, as you look at their defensive alignment. I mean, at second base, they're playing for the double play. Shortstop's kind of double play depth a little bit in, and I'm sure that's just because it's Yachty running, but
I'm with you because it's got to be hard hit with Sosa running. I mean, he's going to beat that out.
But would you turn the double play if it was hit up the middle? I mean, you almost have to like.
Well, that's my point. I don't. Run off. Sosa is so fast, and you've got to worry about Yachty at the plate. Ground ball, you can get him at the plate.
Well, look at the second baseman. He's so deep. I mean, as far as cutting off the run, I guess they just expect that they know that they have time to throw Yachty out if they need to. But you can't. I don't think you can turn the double play, or you got to cut the run down.
Big gap in left center. The 2-0 pitch to Edmundo Sosa. Sosa, base hit into left. Yachty will score, and the Cardinals have a 5-4 lead here in the 11th.
He just got a hanging slider, 2-0, that didn't do anything. I guess he's probably just happy that ball didn't end up in the seats.
Edmundo Sosa drives in his 24th. Still nobody out. Runners at first and second. The bench, they're loving it. Now a right-hander starting to get loose. Trevor Williams, we saw him pitch in the ball game last night, the former Pirate and Cubs starter. The Cardinals have Kwon Hun Kim getting loose in their pen. Harrison Bader to the plate. Hitless tonight, reached on an air by Lindor in the ninth. It may take everyone to win this game tonight. And it just might.
Well, it's your typical playoff game right here. You empty the bench and do whatever you can with the pitching staff to get through the game.
Mets thinking the potential of a bunt is Andrew Knizner. Goes to the on-deck circle. And that pitch taken low. Knizner would be the pinch hitter for Alex Reyes. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Fall behind 3-0, you might put him on. You got a base open and then set up the potential double play with Knizner coming up. We're about to find out. That misses in. 3-0. You get that force play at any bag.
Yeah, you got to do it. You're right. I mean, your only thing that you're thinking here as the Mets is you're going to throw 3 sliders and hope he swings and misses at a couple of them. But other than that, your thought is the right thought.
3-0 pitch and a strike.
Yeah, I got to believe you might want to let it fly right there. That was probably going to be the last fastball.
The 3-1 pitch to Bader. Out of play, now 3-2. Inning started, a base hit by Rondon to right. Sosa, the RBI single to put the Cardinals on top. A 3-2 pitch to Bader. Chops it left side. Lindor only play to first. Runners advance to second and third. Andrew Knizner will be the pinch hitter for Alex Reyes. Andrew Knizner is the final available position player for St. Louis. And when the Cardinals brought up Justin Miller, Ali Sanchez backed down, so that's your catching situation too. Knizner against righties, hitting .214, and now digs in a big spot, trying to add some insurance here late.
He's just got to put the ball in play.
1 for 6 as a pinch hitter. The infield is in for the Mets. First pitch to Knizner. Taken for a ball. Tommy Edman on deck. Kim now just standing out in the St. Louis bullpen, loose and ready. The 1-0 pitch. Knizner up the middle, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes another. The throw not in time. Andrew Knizner off the bench drives in 2. It's a 7-4 St. Louis lead.
It's just a great job right here by Kiz. He gets ahead in the count and he doesn't take a fastball. That's a great job.
The speed of Sosa, no chance to get him scoring from second base. Andrew Knizner, the last available position player, and they've needed all of them tonight. Reed, position player for the St. Louis Cardinals tonight, off the bench with a base hit that plates 2. The reason we get here is because some Gold Glovers and maybe future Hall of Famers made the play of the night. Goldschmidt stepping on the bag and throwing to the plate to Molina, then to Arenado, and a double play to send us to the 11th. So as we speak, the Cardinals and Padres and Reds all tied. St. Louis with a win. They go in front of Cincinnati, and then you scoreboard watch out west. Trevor Williams, Chevy, called to the pen. 7th game with the New York Mets. Here's Tommy Edman. Knizner, the runner at first base. Edman tonight is 1 for 5. Game that was started by Jake Woodford. Daniel Ponce de Leon then came in. Whitley, Cabrera, Garcia, Gallegos, Reyes. And the 1-0 pitch.
Get them all in there. Pretty much unloaded not just the bench, but the bullpen.
Tommy Edman head-to-head against Williams. 2 for 11. 1 ball and 1 strike. Edman, base hit into center. Knizner will stop at second base. Runners at first and second. The 4th hit in the 11th for the Cardinals. Paul Goldschmidt has been on base 3 times. Pair of walks and a double. He has scored 2 runs. Runners at first and second. 7 for 21 head-to-head against this right-hander. And the first pitch to Goldie. Here it comes. Ooh. And again, if you're just joining us, the Mets had runners at first and third in the bottom of the 10th. Lindor up, grounded to Goldie, stepped on the bag, and they turned 2. The 0-1 inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. Taken low.
Great take right there.
2 balls, 1 strike. Tyler O'Neill is on deck, and he is homered tonight. Oh,
he's selling out. He sold out for the slider. First pitch, went after it. Missed it right there. He was selling out fastball and didn't get it.
Big gap in left center. The 2-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Got a fastball and popped it foul. Mets will have Conforto, Alonso, and Baez. Looking ahead to their half of the 11th inning. Cardinals with 4 hits here in the top half, and they've grabbed a 3-run lead. Kim stands and waits. And a pickoff almost into center field. Good play by Baez to keep it on the infield.
Can you imagine the boos that would have just been
oh boy,
if that ball would have went to center field?
Well, the Mets tonight, they have committed 3 errors, and they've been out hit now 10-5 in the game and trail 7-4. Kisner dancing out there at second base. Baez says, hey, go get him. And Goldie hits it to short, a flip and a turn and a double play. Big inning for the Cardinals. Now can they finish it off? 7-4, bottom of the 11th when we come back. Reactions say it all. Trying to find and claw and scratch their way into postseason play. And if they hold on tonight, 3 outs away, the Cardinals would be in the 2nd spot in the National League wild card. Wow. 7-4 in the bottom of the 7th. In the 10th, the play of the game. And we've had a bunch of them, but this one, think about the defense, the smarts, and the talent defensively to make this play happen. Goldie, Yachty, Nolan Arenado. Amazing.
Just a heads-up play right there. Just to get the out, first of all, not panic. Step on the bag. Then to go to the plate, knowing that that is the main idea, is to stop that run from scoring. You throw to second base, you get the rundown, then you got 2 different rundowns about to happen, and that is cause for disaster.
And the first pitch by Kim, taken for a ball. Conforto with Lindor at second, Mets down by 3. The last save for Kwon Hun Kim was July 24th of 2020. The first game of the truncated season a year ago. 2 balls, no strikes. Bottom line is no walks, especially with the guy on deck, Pete Alonso. Conforto hitting 188 against lefties. Left to pitch for the Cardinals. Andrew Miller, TJ McFarland, Justin Miller. Cardinals have used their entire bench. Two balls, 1 strike. Fouled back, and now it's 2-2.
Nice job coming back. All 4 sliders, 2 average ones and then 2 better ones, but interesting to see. Like, I think that the previous at bat of the fastball was a rocket to short. Just think about maybe not giving him anything to really just hit the ball the other way to give a chance for a base hit.
Now time called. Alonso on deck, and then Baez, who sent us to extra innings with his solo home run.
Curious to see if they go right back to the breaking ball.
Conforto with a couple of runs batted in tonight, and the 2-2 hit out of play. Woodford went 4. Ponce de Leon, third of an inning, walked 3. Whitley came in with the bases loaded, 1 out. Got out of it. Could have been much worse. Gave up just 1 run, charged to Daniel Ponce de Leon. Cabrera in the 7th. And then a portion of the 8th. Then it was Garcia, Gallegos, Reyes, and now Kim.
What do you do when he starts to dive? He's starting to sell out outside, out over the plate. Does not believe that he will throw anything inside. I don't know if you just go out there a little bit further or you try to throw something up.
And a fly ball out to left. Plenty of room for O'Neill. Lindor tagging up from second to third, and there's 1 away. Now Pete Alonso with 1 swing cannot tie it. He could put you 1 back from the Mets perspective. That's why that first out is such a key here in the bottom of the 11th. Alonso 247 against the lefties. 15 of his 32 home runs against left-handed pitching. And the first pitch by Kim taken high. Javi Baez is on deck. The 1-0. Alonso with a high fly ball into right. Rondon back over his head. Alonso will wind up at second base. A run does score. And the reason that Rondon is in right field and did not look comfortable on that fly ball clearly is that Mike Schilt brought him in as an extra infielder and has to stay in the game and now playing right. Dylan Carlson probably puts that in his back pocket. Not an easy play, but catchable.
I'm happy that ball stayed in the ballpark too, though. I know it doesn't matter if he scores or not, but that home run charges up the New York Mets and gives them some life.
And now it's Baez, who's 4 for 7 against KK with a double. Javi Baez, the reason we're here was back in the 9th, the first pitch down by a run by Gallegos, and he crushed it into left. His 31st home run of the year. That tied it at 4. .288 against the lefties. 9 home runs. And Baez represents the tying run. One out runner at second. And the first pitch taken low. Now, if you fall behind with Baez, it may not be necessarily the worst thing to then face McNeil. Against lefties, he's 226. And you know Baez get tired with one swing. Get into a situation where you just give him nothing to hit. Now, the problem with that is that you bring the winning run to the plate, but then you take your chances.
Yeah, you bring the winning run to the plate, but you got McNeil only with 6 home runs, and then you have Pilar behind him with only 14. So you look at McNeil's at bats, he's 0 for 4. But you also think instead of one guy taking a big swing, you got 2 guys that might have to get base hits, and then another guy has to get another hit. It's almost like a 3 for 1. You know,
I mean, you might as well just put him on right now.
Now you do.
Yeah. Why not? Don't let him beat you. And take your chances. Lefty-lefty matchup with McNeil. Now left on the bench for the Mets, you've got Albert Almora, then Guillorme. But in this spot, if you're the Mets, you're going to be forced to use the lefty-lefty matchup, then Pilar, because then you have the pitcher spot coming up. So this is your ball game right here, potentially. Again, against the lefties, he's hitting 226.
I don't like the shortstop where he's at right there. I hope he can slide back to the right. Something fastball away. He might hit the ball right where the shortstop should be. The way he's been swinging the bat tonight.
Nobody throwing for the St. Louis Cardinals in their bullpen. Lefty gets up. Brad Hand for the Mets, just in case. Tying runs are aboard. And it's a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Is that caught again? Yadier Molina shaking that hand.
Can't make it through a night without that happening.
Pilar, by the way, hitting 216 against left-handed pitching. So
he's really struggled with the ball away too the last couple days. All of a sudden he's in pull mode.
The 1-1 hit out of play. Justin Miller now starting to throw. It's a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. McNeil representing the winning run. The tying runs are aboard here in the bottom of the 11th. The 1-2. Ground ball, could be 2. A flip, a turn. Not in time.
Wow, he got down the line in a hurry.
Runners at the corners now for Kevin Pilar.
I don't think that Tommy slowed this down at all, but I was scared he did get this ball at the glove and was going to throw it away. He's beating it out no matter what. Yeah, he's beating it out no matter what, but I think it was a smart play by Tommy, not trying to do too much.
Two outs, 2 on. And Pilar. Albert Almora Jr. on deck if Pilar can extend it.
I mean, look how deep the outfield is. There'd be no doubles defense right here.
First pitch to him is a ball. Pitch number 17 by Kim. The Cardinals 1 out away from taking the first 2 in this series.
First thing you need to do as an outfielder is let everyone know how deep you are so infielders can get back if they need to.
The 1-0. That's a strike, and it's 1-1.
That's the pitch right there that he hasn't liked. He hasn't really swung at that pitch very well all night and or yesterday. Go right back out there, Danny.
And that's hit out of play. And the Mets down to their final strike in what has been a wild ball game at Citi Field.
Go back out there, or do you try to throw that slider at his feet?
I don't want to get beat in because I get beat in.
Yeah, I don't want to get beat in either, but they don't seem to worry about that too much. Clearly, that's how we got here. The one thing that worries me with the slider is bouncing it. You don't want to move first to second.
The 1-2 pitch by Kim. Ground ball slowly hit. Kim off the mound. Spins, throws, and safe. A run does score. And an infield hit for Pilar. Cuts the lead to 7-6.
This is unbelievable.
Albert Almora. As a pinch hitter, he is 0 for 13. And Kim did everything he could.
Just didn't finish it.
Rushed it just a bit, and an error is given to Kim on the play. Almora, by the way, against left-handed pitching is 3 for 20 this year. Goldie did the right thing coming off the bag. And the ball game extended. It's now a 1-run game. 2 outs, 2 on. Almora looks at strike 1. Yeah, McNeil in good speed at second. He represents the tying run. The 0-1. Now 0-2, and again the Mets down to their final strike. They have one position player available, Guillorme. The Cardinals have Miller, McFarland from the left side, Justin Miller from the right. Miller has been throwing in the pen. Can Kim end it here? The 0-2.
Ooh, a little 93 right there. It's a good pitch, I think, right there. That's a little bit off, a little bit more off than you probably wanted it, but enough with enough heat on it to get your attention.
Almora trying to extend it to McCann. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the next by Kim. 2-2. It's a big block by Yadier Molina. If not, the winning run is at second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Almora.
I mean, Danny, if this isn't playoff baseball, nothing is.
Kim, the 8th pitcher used by St. Louis tonight. Can he finish it off? The 2-2. And it runs full. And now the runner's off with this pitch and a ball in the gap, and you never know.
Yeah, you would love to not go to 3-2 right here. This is opposite of anything that you want to see happen.
Almora has worked the count full. Bottom of the 11th. Tying run in scoring position. Winning run at first, and the 3-2 is a ground ball. Tommy Edman has it. The Cardinals win it. In a year that at times has been defined by heartbreak and late inning losses for the Cardinals. Not tonight. 7-6 the final in 11. And on September 14th, your St. Louis Cardinals have the second wild card spot in the National League. What a game.
I don't even know what to say. That was unbelievable. And you look at the scoreboard and San Diego is losing. I mean, total team effort. Clearly, what a job by the bullpen. What a grind for the offense. A couple of heads-up plays, some luck. Wowee, Danny, you said it. What a game.
September 14th of 2021, the Cardinals have the second wild card spot. St. Louis now 75-69. It's the game of the year. 7-6 the final in 11.